The football talk show that holds back nothing on opinions.
Straight shooting LJA.
Hi, I'm John Sitton.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
The G-Man.
Samir Sawni, Motivate Sports and Fitness.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-Year Plan.
We the people, for the people. Jazzy Fizzle.
Your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Each and every Monday night of your lives.
At youtube.com/pitch talk.
For podcast links and information, check out our official website, www.pitch-talk.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Pitch Talk proudly presents a full sit-down interview with a level 5 referee operating in Southern Amateur League and more. For 2 years, he was club secretary for a football club in Burnt Oak. In April 2015, he was elected AFA Youth Council Chairman. His aims include having input on development and more.
To ask Darrell a question during our special interview, email pitchtalk@gmail.com and put Darrell David in the subject line. Pitch Talk meets Darrell David. Coming soon.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-Year Plan.
Dave McLaughlin.
I'm Rob Lusher.
Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
Former chairman of Ibis FC.
Chairman of Alexandra Park FC.
And you're listening to
Pitch Talk.
The only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Make sure you join the revolution, the football revolution.
Hi, I'm John Sitton, and I'm here with Gavin, Liam and Gerald on Pitch Talk.
The football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez. My name is Christian Carambeu.
I'm Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hi, I'm Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-Year Plan, and you're listening to Pitch Talk, the only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I'm Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
I'm Rob Lusher, former chairman of Ibis FC.
I'm Samir Sawni, co-founder and co-director of Motivate Sports and Fitness.
And you're listening to
Pitch Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and also side dishes of all ages, according to what's going on in the Skype chat. I don't know where that's come from. Side dishes. I want my salad, baby. Gotta get my 5 a day, baby. Why have I got to get my 5 a day? So I got the energy to say. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, straight shooting LJ, the G-Man and Jazzy Fizzle proudly bring to you the football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions. Why? Because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we have our side dishes and talk. Where did the side dishes become?
That too. That too. You know, your Monday night footballing fix is evolving. We've graduated to talking about salad.
I want my salad, or I will get angry.
Oh no!
And not talk and say anything for 20 minutes.
It's happened again.
The OWRs are starting early. Oh, the OWRs are starting early. It's Dusty Rhodes and Triple H. But www.pitch-talk.com is the official website to find out about everything Pitch Talk related. That's our official website, www.pitch-talk.com. Remember, facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become fan, become friend, become member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create. pitchtalk.blogspot.com or .co.uk will get you to the blogs. Blogs by yours truly, Straight Shooting LJA, the G-Man, Jazzy Fizzle, and many, many others, including Dave Meir, aka @Mearcy on Twitter. not only giving the referees perspective, but also giving an Airtricity Premier League roundup as well. Pitchtalk.blogspot.com or .co.uk is where you can find that. Also, youtube.com/pitchtalk is where you can find our Pitch Talk Meet series. Remember, we've got Pitch Talk Meets Darrell David coming up soon, very soon. Get your questions in. pitchtalk@gmail.com is where you send the questions for Pitch Talk Meets Darrell David. YouTube.com, and we also played it at the top of the show as well. The trailer, the advert for it. So get your questions sent in as soon as possible, because we will be sitting down with Mr. Darrell David, the chairman of the Amateur Football Alliance's Youth Council, AFA Youth Council, at AFA Youth Council on Twitter. Also, youtube.com/Pitch Talk is where you will find all of our other videos as well. Our Cup Final series, the Pitch Talk on the Road series, which in the grassroots segment later on in the show, we will be talking about a lot. We were proud to witness the birth of a club on Saturday, July 11th, and that club being Hackney Wick FC. We want to say a big thank you to everyone from the ladies team, the men's team, their chairwoman, Miss Rana Bright.
Chairman.
Yeah, she made a point of saying chairman. So big shout out to Hackney Wick FC's chairman, Miss Rana Brightman, and a big time shout out also to Mr. Bobby Kasanga as well. Massive shout outs. He is the founder of Hackney Wick FC. He's put so much work in. It's one of them deserves a massive shout out and a massive thank you as well. Also, big shout out to Daniel and Tom of @BeautifulGame15 on Twitter. On Facebook, Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game. Give them a like on Facebook now. Also, big shout outs to everybody else at Hackney Wick FC, at Hackney Wick FC on Twitter, hackneywickfc.com. Also, big shout out to Football Beyond Borders as well. Twitter.com/FBeyondBorders at FBeyond Borders on Twitter, and at FBB Warriors on Twitter as well, the Football Beyond Borders women's team as well. You know what? It is one of them ones. Also, remember to find us at Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. Pitch Talk live on Google Plus. And 07535804466 is the mobile number. Call us, text us, let us know your views. If you're texting in, leave your name at the end of the text. 07535804466 is that mobile number. Also, we're on Skype, Pitch Talk 1. We are live right now on YouTube, youtube.com/Pitch Talk. Of course, we podcast on iTunes, Mixcloud, Podomatic, Spreaker, and TuneIn Radio 2. Jazzy Fizzle, how's your week and weekend been?
Well, the week's been good, and you know how my weekend was, man. You was there for a big chunk of it.
He's there, baby.
You know, so that goes without saying. But you know what? Shout out to G-Man as well, because you know what? It wouldn't have been the same without G-Man, because obviously the trip to Mabley Green was absolutely hilarious. The trip from Mabley Green was absolutely hilarious.
And even while we were there, it was hilarious.
Oh my goodness!
What happened to Gucci Mane?
To the nature of the conversation on there, but it was absolutely hilarious. So G-Man, thank you ever so much. And you know what? Shout out to everybody that we met down at Mabley Green. Just everybody associated with Hackney Wick FC. Obviously, Daniel and Tom, a Beautiful Game 15 on Twitter as well. And you know what? All of the spectators that came down to support the event as well. Thank you all so much. Everybody that ended up getting a business card from us, thank you very much. And of course, you know what? Thank you to everybody listening as well. And I'm just happy to be here. So I have to do my bit, because otherwise Mike Harneman will get upset. All right. So Mike, this one goes out to you, even though it's not for you. Shout out to my ex-wife, shout out to my next wife, shout out to my future kids as well. And you know what? Love my family, man.
You know
what?
what?
My family. Shout out to my family too. But you know what? It is we the people for the people. enough of all of that stuff. Let's get back to the good stuff. Let's get back to your Monday Night Footballing Fix.
Exactly. But you know what? Yeah. Before we get back to the proceedings this evening with your Monday Night Footballing Fix. Every time you say the shout outs to the next wife, the ex-wife, it always makes me really want to play a certain soundbite.
Go on.
It really does.
Go on.
It really because every time Jezzy Fizzle manages to come out with the shout outs to my ex-wife, next wife, I just keep thinking of this.
This girl sent me this picture of a little baby. And it was in a town that I'd never been in before. And she sent me this picture. She said, New Jack, this is your baby.
She said, Jesse, this is your baby.
And the baby looked like a pigeon with a spiked hairdo. I swear to God. I told her that ain't my baby. And she said, no, but you was there with me. You remember that night.
The ex-wife remembers that night.
Oh, my goodness. Every time that gets me. And you know, I just keep thinking back to Pitch Talk at the Cup final, right? And I know you know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to name names.
Wait. Does it begin with a T by any chance?
No, not that part. This was before from Jamie Bailey, right? This was the guy. This was one of the guys to our right. He looked like that child grown up.
Oh
complete with the spike
yeah.
pigeon hairdo.
Oh, that's a Libby. Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh no, it was like, dude, what have you done to your hair?
You look like a pigeon with a spiked hairdo.
It's like, dude, what have you done? What have you done? Speaking of what have you done, Hugo Lloris has broken his wrist. I'm not going to ask what he was doing to break his wrist because that's a different story potentially. But yeah, anyway, I've heard too much of that will make you blind. Anyway, moving on.
Ideals, man.
That's an ideals meal. Look at me. Mike Horniman in the Sky chat site. He's playing for Tottenham. He needs all the aid he can get. I hope you're not talking about marital aid. Anyway, no. I've been watching too much Jim Cornette recently.
Yes, you have.
He's one of those deviants. He's always he's always at their peep shows and like carries marital aids in his back. Anyway, yeah, leaving that aside, we've got Brad Hicks, we've got Mike Hardiman, we've got Ryan Sonley, we've got Russ Vernon, and we've got Tom Wood in the Skype chat. At a big time, we want to give a big time shout out to Matt Plant, Villa supporter, who he saw the Delph thing. It was on them. It was on them. He actually posted quite a funny meme because we met Matt Plant down at the FA Cup final, and he was like, "Yep, if we keep Delph, he's gonna be great for us next season." And then the Man City thing came up. And it's like, yep, when you tip Delph to be a success next season and he bugs off to Man City, it's like, But there was a U-turn. Where's Usher at? Come on. It's not hard to learn. Come on. It's called the U-turn. But it's one of them.
Really?
Yes, really. Put your hands up and bend your knees. Bounce around in a circle. Get down with me. Oh, come on. It's not hard to learn. Come on. It's called the U-turn. In 80. No, I'm not going to sing the rest.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow.
Start singing. In the 90s.
He was going into verses, people. Verses.
Well, actually, the perfect song came up next. Oh, I like that. This talks where it's at. Whoa. Where Billy? What's the matter with you, Billy? What's the matter with you? Tremendous. I'm seeing something about people getting beaten with rolling pins. Okay. Skype chat's getting interesting. You know what?
Yeah, talking about Snapchat too. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I recently jumped on Snapchat like a few days ago. Not done much apart from just kind of mucking about, really. So I don't get it, but I'm gonna try to get it. And there's no punchline to that, actually. Someone's waiting for a punchline. There's no punchline to that.
It's just like, okay, we'll just wait and see where that goes.
There is legitimately absolutely no punchline to that. So it's one. But you know what? I do like that. I like that. But it is one of them where it is time for us to move, and we are kind of move and groove into literally just a few. Results and analysis. It's results and analysis. It's results and analysis. Funnily enough, where that analysis thing come from? Analyze. I want to analyze. Well, I was watching that episode of our show yesterday from season 3. Tremendous. Anyway, please release me. Let me go. Oh, I don't love you anymore. My lips are warm while yours are cold. Release me, my darling. Let me go. Yeah, that's all I've got on that. Anyway, Saturday, 11th of July, 2015.
I like how you Cosby'd the end as well. Like, really?
This crunch is everywhere. It's everywhere. But Saturday, 11th of July, 2015, FA Women's Super League 2, Reading Women 3, Durham Women 0, Doncaster Rovers Bells 5, Watford Ladies 0. Moving on to Sunday, 12th of July 2015 in the FA Women's Super League 2. Coming back to that, Aston Villa Ladies 2, Millwall Lionesses 1, London Bees 1, Oxford United 2. Yeovil Town Ladies versus Everton Ladies was actually postponed. And moving on to the FA Women's Super League, which is back after the FIFA Women's World Cup. No, there's some real positive news to come out of this, actually. Chelsea Ladies 4, Bristol Academy Women 1. Keeping Chelsea Ladies top. Manchester City Women 1, Birmingham City Ladies 0. Sunderland Ladies 2, Notts County Ladies 1, and Arsenal Ladies 1, Liverpool Ladies 3. Staying with the Women's Super League, actually, Women's World Cup Lionesses return to record crowds. Record crowds turned out to watch Women's Super League sides as the stars of the World Cup returned to domestic action with their clubs. Of the 23 England Lionesses that finished third overall in Canada, 17 made league appearances on Sunday. A new league record crowd of 2,102 saw Manchester City beat Birmingham City 1-0 at the Academy Stadium. The average attendance of Sunday's WSL 1 games was 78% higher than the average for the first half of the 2015 season. The 2,061 who saw Liverpool win 3-1 at Arsenal at Boreham Wood was more than 2.5 times the crowd for the Gunners' last home game. Meanwhile, more than 1,200 fans watched Chelsea beat Bristol Academy 4-1 at Staines Town, while nearly 1,000 people were at the Hetton Centre to see Sunderland snatch a late win over Notts County. Now, this FIFA Women's World Cup has actually led to increased crowds across the board, because in the first half of the season, the average WSL 1 attendance was 892. By contrast, at the 4 WSL 1 matches on Sunday, 12th of July, there was an average crowd of 1,588. As said, the results saw Chelsea extend their lead at the top of WSL 1 to 5 points, while Manchester City and Liverpool's wins mean they are now just 4 points. There are now just 4 points separating second and sixth. South Korea forward Ji So-yeon was among the goal scorers for Chelsea, who have won 5 of their 7 league games so far. England midfielder Farrell Williams' long-range strike opened the scoring for Liverpool as they secured their first away points of the season. She actually got a fantastic goal easy goal of the week contender, as Mike Hardiman has pointed out, and she got an assist for the second goal as well, which looked like an OG, looked like a Janssen OG. But it was one of them ones. But Lionesses forward Tony Duggan gave Man City their second league win of 2015 with the only goal of the game in that one, while Birmingham remain winless so far, along with bottom club Bristol. Beth Mead's stoppage time strike moved Sunderland up to third by continuing the Lady Black Cats' impressive start to WSL 1 after their promotion last year. Arsenal ladies versus Liverpool ladies was a tremendous match, to be perfectly frank. It's one of them. I really enjoyed that from start to finish. Liverpool were all over them first half. They're all over the Arsenal ladies first half, and it was one of them where the performance. I mean, Oshuala looked like she was one of them ones where she was bullying that back line. I mean, it was one of them. I think it was even Casey Stoney was getting bullied by Oshuala. But it is one of them ones where the goal, I mean, Farrah Williams' goal, absolute belter. She impressed. She really did impress. I mean, technically, you could see she's very gifted technically as well. You see Alex Scott at certain points marauding down the right as usual as well. And but it was one of them ones. I think Arsenal had the better of the second half, but then the third goal was a real sucker punch. It really was an absolute sucker punch because Arsenal had been on top, and then boom, to get caught by a counter attack like that. It was one of, I think it was Tash Dowie who played just a long curling ball forward towards Oshuala, and it was one of them. It was okay. I mean, Oshuala did very well, but it was one of them ones where it was a good little spectacle to see. I mean, like we mentioned, like we were talking about last week, it was a case of the only reason I personally haven't watched more FAWSL games is access. It's access, but it's one of them ones. Sometimes you got to make that little extra effort to get to watch it as well. But we are going to talk about the future of the women's game in spades because there been a couple of very interesting things happening this week in terms of the women's game. So there is a lot to be spoken about as well. So, but who's jumping in on these results so far? Jezzy, you want to jump in?
Sure. I mean, I caught the highlights of Arsenal v Liverpool in terms of the ladies, and brilliant game. I mean, here's the thing. You know how I was saying at the start of the Women's World Cup that everybody should be watching it because, you know, you're going to see just how good women's football is, so on and so forth. Right. Well, you should be watching the WSL because you're going to see how good women's football is, so on and so forth. Right? And this game, for me, was just exemplary of that. This game had 3 legitimate goal of the week contenders in it. Yeah, and any one of them would be worthy winners. Any one of them. Because they really were that good.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and it's great to see that the attendances are up. You know, whether or not that's a knock-on effect of the Women's World Cup or not, I have no idea, but long may it continue.
Well, we'll discuss that.
Because here's the thing. My thing is, even if it is, so what? So what? Women's football needs this anyway. And, you know, let's get behind it. Because like I said, what I'm really looking forward to is the time when women's football and men's football, they're on equal playing field. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Right? Because then as a nation, there's so much more to cheer about. As I say, if we look at the example set by the USA, right, Germany, France, there's so much support for the women's team that it's almost exactly the same as the men's team. And the women's team for America has been very successful. So why not get behind it?
Ain't no real reason not to. So, all right. Well, that was hopefully it's on the up. But as I said, we'll talk about that in more depth and general talking points. So it's one of them ones. But we've got a couple of Skypers that want to jump in. Mike Hardiman, you want to jump in on?
Yeah, I only caught the second half live, and then I caught up with the first half as well. But I really thought Liverpool deserved it based on the first half performance from what I saw, and there was, like Jesse said, 3 really well taken goals in that game. It was Natalia Sanchon for Arsenal. That goal was a brilliant finish from her.
It was.
That Farrah Williams' first goal as well was, like I said in the chat, just different class. And to be honest, it's good to see that the women's game is getting all the recognition that it deserves now after the World Cup, with the crowds and all that as well. And it's good. It's just about time that it happened. It could have happened sooner, really. Should have done. And just I'm just it was good. Just enjoyed the game, really, to be honest. And I thought Arsenal played some good stuff as well, but it was Liverpool just about edged it for me overall in the end.
I mean, it was one of them ones. I mean, Brad Hicks has just said in the chat, the US women's game is incredible. The amount of work that goes into the game over there is unreal, and that is a good point. I mean, women's football has been huge in the USA for a number of years. I mean, I remember going over to Atlanta in 2001, and it was big. So it's been like that for a while, but over here, it's really needed that boost. And as I said, general talking points. We're going to go into more depth about some very important statistics to do with women's football at the moment. And it's good to see that some people who don't normally watch the FAWSL are actually jumping on board. I mean, I put myself in that category. I mean, usually I'm not able to because of access, but it's one of them ones. I got to catch the Arsenal-Liverpool game, and it's like, I was impressed. It was like, cool. So it is one of them ones. I mean, Ross Vernon, you wanted to jump in as well?
I did, Liam, yes, because I was watching the game live yesterday, the Arsenal-Liverpool game, and I thought it was a fantastic game. I thought Liverpool deserved the win, in my opinion, yesterday, and I feel like the Farrah Williams got a fantastic strike, as well as the third goal for Liverpool, which was a fantastic chip over the keeper. And Natalia finished brilliantly as well for Arsenal to bring it back to 2-1. I'm actually going to watch the women's show later on this evening, which Brad's mentioned in the chat room, which hopefully going to catch up with the other games from the Women's Super League. And I feel like it was a good game. I think the England players who played yesterday, Sterney, Scott and Williams, all played brilliantly yesterday, in my opinion. So they came back from the World Cup and showed more experience playing with the top players from other countries, and fetched by the performances that they did in the World Cup for England back over here to the FA Women's Super League, which I'm going to keep a close eye on now. I'm going to be watching as much games as I can on a Saturday or a Sunday when they're on live, and catch up with the highlights as well. And and I think Frank Kirby's move to Chelsea, Liam. Chelsea ladies from Reading is a good move for her as well. I think she'll do well then. She's got goals in her, as they've shown in the World Cup, and I feel she'll be a good asset to the Chelsea squad this season.
No, of course, no, definitely. I mean, she impressed in a couple of appearances in the World Cup. It was like, you know what, Frank Kirby's going to be something. She's young as well, so there's time for her to develop, and as we like to say, get seasoned. And also, Siobhan Chamberlain going to Notts County is quite an important deal as well, because obviously she's literally been flung straight in. I think she had her debut for Notts County over the weekend. So it's one of them ones. I mean, for Siobhan Chamberlain, she's going to get regular game time as County's normal keeper is actually injured. Carly Telford is actually injured at the moment. So it's one of them ones. Siobhan Chamberlain moves to a new club on loan and is getting game time straight away. So that's another important move as well. So the more game time you get, the more experience you get, the better. I'm sure in general talking points, when we talk about transfers, we're going to get a lot more into that issue. I am actually sure of it. But I mean, Brad Hicks has said he's going to watch more FAWSL action on BT Sport as well. So It is one of them ones as well. So this is. See, I don't want to say too much before general talking, but I don't want to say too much before general talking, because we're going to build up. We're going to build up to it. We always do. But remember, there are still tickets available for the SSE Women's FA Cup final. It's going to be played at Wembley. The first Women's FA Cup final to be played at Wembley. Us three Pitch Talk co-hosts will be there. So get yourselves down there on Saturday, August 1st. Get yourself down there. Tom Wood's going to be down there. A few others are going to be down there too. So come and find us. It's one of them ones. Them tickets are, I think, £15 each. They are actually £15 each. So very, very fairly priced. You'll get to meet all three Pitch Talk co-hosts down there as well. We'll be down there with the cameras. We're going to do another cup final video down there too. So it is one of them. It is going to be tremendo. So, but yeah, that's it. That is August 1st. That is August 1st, 2015. The SSE Women's FA Cup final. We'll be there. Make sure you're down there as well. But you know what? It is one of them ones where the show is getting a little seasoned. Yeah. PT. Yeah. It's PT. And no, I'm not going to start rapping. No matter how tempting it is. Because I know I can't. I know Jezzy can though. Jezzy, come on, drop some bars. Drop some bars instead of propping them up. Nah, no bars for me. No bars for me. I'm saving those. Well, you got your Xanax bars in the car, yeah? This guy. No, I love that's a new jack, man. I love that. Oh, the kayfabe going choose ones. Oh my word. Shall we move and groove on? Not the side dish gimmick again. Yeah, let's shift on before the side dish thing goes a bit too far. Anyway, it is time, and a big shout out to Girls on the Ball at Girls on the Ball on Twitter, and also www.girlsontheball.com and facebook.com/Girls on the Ball. They were down a couple of the FAWSL 2 games over the weekend and the Arsenal-Liverpool FAWSL game as well. So it's one of them ones. They've been to a good few games this weekend. You know what? It is time for us to move on to
General Talking Points.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, wow. Yeah. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's Monday night and this is Pitch Talk Live. We could talk about some transfers and the women's game. Cause it's general talking points and this is where we are. Why? Because this is Pitch Talk. Yeah. You know what? We have been alluding to it, that we are going to talk about a lot of moving and grooving within the women's game. We're going to come back to that because you build up to your main event. We're going to start with some transfers because there's been a lot happening in transfer news, especially in the Premier League. God damn. Tottenham signed that Atletico Madrid defender from the 8th of July 2015. Tottenham have signed Toby Alderweireld, for an undisclosed fee from Atletico Madrid on a 5-year contract. 26-year-old Belgian defender was on loan at Southampton last season and made 26 Premier League appearances. At the time, Southampton were thinking of taking legal action as they believed they had an option to buy the centre-back for 6.8 million unless Atletico paid 1.5 million to buy back that clause. Now, there has been a little change to do with that because Southampton will not pursue legal action over that. Southampton's executive director Les Reed confirmed the club will not seek legal action against Atletico Madrid over their sale of Toby Alderweireld to Tottenham. They were considering it. But it is one of them. But it is one of them. There was the option of the permanent transfer. The clause was triggered by the Saints, who believed Atletico had to buy it back. Southampton claimed Atletico did not do so, but according to Reed, it soon became clear Alderweireld preferred a move to Tottenham, and there was nothing they could do to stop him. There's nothing to. Reed actually said, "There's nothing to sue Atletico for because we could have had a deal in place." And I have to say, Atletico have been exceptionally professional all the way through. Whilst the legal representatives from both sides were discussing the pros and cons of a legal argument, I was having a very good conversation with them about the potential of making a market price offer and sealing a transfer for Toby. But it was the fact that Toby had decided to go to Spurs regardless of contract, salary and everything else that meant it was pointless trying to take any more legal action because our argument was then not with Atletico. Javi Manquillo on July 7th, 2015. A big rest in peace to those who lost their lives on July 7th, by the way, considering it was the 10th anniversary this week. Sorry, this past week, I should say. Anyway, Atletico Madrid and Javi Manquillo agreed to terminate Manquillo's deal after a lack of playing time. Javier Manquillo's deal, the 21-year-old right back joined the Reds on an initial 2-year loan last summer with a view to a permanent deal. However, Manquillo struggled to hold down a place in Brendan Rodgers' side, and following the recent 12 million swoop for Nathaniel Klein, the young Spaniard was deemed surplus to requirements. Liverpool could only cut short loan with permission of Atletico and the player, and that has been secured. Liverpool defender Martin Skrtel signs new contracts on July 10th, 2015. He signed a new contract with the club. Slovakia international Skrtel, who's 30 years old, had 1 year to run on his current deal, but the Reds have not disclosed the length of his new contract. He's made 293 appearances for us since joining in 2008 from Zenit St. Petersburg. The news comes after an announcement on Friday that Jordan Henderson has been appointed Liverpool's new captain. Breaking news, that was breaking news that you didn't necessarily have to break into programming for, because anyone who has been paying attention for the past season knew that was coming a year ago. Anyway, Man United signed Torino and Italy defender on the 11th of July 2015. Manchester United have signed Torino defender Matteo Darmian for an undisclosed fee reported to be about £12.7 million. The 25-year-old Italy international signed a 4-year deal with the club having the option of a further year. He made 146 appearances for Torino since making his debut in 2011 and has 13 full international caps. He started all 3 of Italy's matches at last year's World Cup in Brazil. Crystal Palace signed French midfielder from Paris Saint-Germain on July 10th, 2015. Crystal Palace have signed Yohan Cabaye from French champions Paris Saint-Germain for a club record transfer fee of £10 million. The 29-year-old midfielder joins on a 3-year deal, with the fee possibly rising to around £13 million with add-ons. He joined PSG from Newcastle for £19 million in January 2014, but has started only 13 matches as Laurent Blanc's side won a domestic treble last season. Palace's previous record was £7 million paid to Wigan for Scottish midfielder James McArthur. So it's one of them ones that's blowing your own records out of the water. But Marco Van Ginkel and Shay Given joined Stoke, but Sheridan Shaqiri deal is off. This is also from 10th of July 2015. Stoke City have signed Chelsea midfielder Marco Van Ginkel on loan and veteran Aston Villa goalkeeper Shay Given, but have pulled out of a deal for Inter Milan's Sheridan Shaqiri. Stoke agreed a club record fee of £12 million for Swiss winger Shaqiri, but they withdrew their offer after he failed to respond to their deadline. It is understood Stoke had given Shaqiri until Thursday lunchtime to commit. We'll continue looking for a major major signing in the wing position. Van Ginkel, who's 22, moves on a season-long loan after making just 4 appearances for Chelsea since joining them from Vitesse Arnhem in 2013. Shay Given has signed a 2-year deal to move on a free transfer and link up for a second time with Mark Hughes, who he played under at Manchester City. Jorginho Wijnaldum seals a £14.5 million move to Newcastle. This from 11th of July 2015. Holland international Wijnaldum becomes the first arrival under head coach Steve McLaren. So I had to mention the Steve thing, considering they're getting the Dutch international. The fee for the 24-year-old is the biggest single amount paid for a player during the 8-year reign of Newcastle owner Mike Ashley. Now shifting on a little further. Watford signed Hamburg midfielder Valon Bayrami from Hamburg on a 3-year deal. The 30-year-old returns to the Premier League, having spent 2.5 years at West Ham from July 2008 until January 2011. He also had spells with Serie A sides Lazio, Fiorentina, and Napoli, where he won the Coppa Italia in 2014. He's won 59 Swiss caps and played at 3 World Cups. He made 22 appearances for Hamburg last season, and he becomes new Hornets manager Quique Sanchez Flores' 6th signing following their promotion to the Premier League. Josh McEachran. This is one I'm going to come back to. Josh McEachran joins Brentford from Chelsea on Friday, July 10th, 2015. Brentford have signed former England under-21 midfield player Josh McEachran from Chelsea for an undisclosed fee. The 22-year-old has also represented his country at under-20, under-19, under-17 and under-16 level and helped England win the European under-17 championships in 2010, earning a place in the team of the tournament. He was also in the England under-21 squad at the 2013 European Championships. He's been with Chelsea since he was 7 years old and progressed through to the first team at the West London side. He's played 22 games for the Blues, with 11 of them in the Premier League and 6 in the Champions League. He's also had loan spells at Swansea, where he played 4 games, and in the Championship with Middlesbrough, Watford, and Wigan Athletic. He spent last season at Vitesse Arnhem and played 21 matches in the Dutch top flight, helping them finish 5th in the table and earn a place in the Europa League. Now, Glenn Johnson signs for Stoke City on an initial 2-year deal. The club confirmed on July 12th, 2015. The 30-year-old former West Ham United, Chelsea, Portsmouth and Liverpool right back now, has made 54 appearances for England but has not featured since the World Cup last year. Iker Casillas signs 2-year deal with Porto on July 12, 2015. Porto have confirmed the signing of Iker Casillas on a 2-year deal with an option of an additional season. The goalkeeper's departure from Real Madrid was announced on Saturday after weeks of rumours that he would leave the club. Porto revealed in a statement on Sunday that the Spain internationals put pen to paper on the deal that ties him to Julian Lopetegui's side until at least 2017. Manchester City and Liverpool agree £49 million deal from the 12th of July 2015. We have been tweeting in relation to this deal. Liverpool have reached an agreement with Manchester City over the £49 million transfer of Raheem Sterling. You know me as a cop-eye. I'm going to have my opinion on this later on. But the transfer of the 20-year-old winger is subject to contract negotiations and a medical, but Sterling had asked to leave Anfield and was the subject of 2 bids from City in June, which were rejected. The forward, who will become the most expensive English player ever, is under contract until 2017, but turned down the new £100,000 a week deal at Liverpool. Several former Liverpool players have criticised the player since he told manager Brendan Rodgers and chief executive Ian Ayre he wanted to leave the club this summer. Now, there's of course a lot more to that. We're going to get into that. But most expensive British players, well, Sterling will be second on the most expensive British players list, behind Gareth Bale, 83.5 million, Tottenham to Real Madrid 2013. Andy Carroll is the second most expensive English player, third on the British list, with Newcastle to Liverpool in 2011. Andy Carroll, we remember we did that. We did a live pitch talk special when those moves were going down. £30 million for Rio Ferdinand, Leeds to Man United in 2002. Luke Shaw was £27 million, Southampton to Man United 2015. Wayne Rooney, Everton to Man United 2004, was £27 million as well. £26 million, James Milner, Aston Villa to Manchester City in 2010. It is one of them. Was former Liverpool captain Steven Gerrard said he was disappointed in the international. You don't have to throw in illness or refuse to go on tour. The LA Galaxy midfielder added, the fans have shown him great support. They wanted to stay, and I believe he should too. However, it is understood the Reds decided to leave him out the door after the player reported for duty. A recent study actually ranked Raheem Sterling as the most valuable young player in Europe, ahead of Paris Saint-Germain defender Marquinhos and Man United's recently acquired Dutch striker Memphis Depay. Which is quite interesting because they never really give details. They didn't really give details on how they got to that. But anyway, 2014-2015, Raheem Sterling's Premier League statistics, because remember, he's only been playing in the Premier League for 3 seasons now. He played 35 matches in the 2014-15 season, scored 7, assisted 7, 62 shots. 2013-14, 33 matches, 9 goals, 5 assists, 33 shots. 2012-2013, 24 matches, 2 goals, 2 assists, 23 shots. Anyway. But it is one of them ones where £9.8 million of that £49 million transfer fee will be going to QPR because of a stipulation written in the contract that QPR get a percentage of any selling on fee that Liverpool make. But one of the major deals from today also as well, Chelsea signed goalkeeper from Stoke City. Chelsea have signed goalkeeper Asmir Begovic from Premier League rival Stoke City for an undisclosed fee reported to be £8 million. The Bosnia-Herzegovina international joins Chelsea on a 4-year deal. Stoke had hoped to keep the 28-year-old who had 1 year remaining on his contract at the Britannia Stadium. So that's from July 13th, 2015 today. But the big deal, the other huge deal today, that has actually been confirmed, and that is Bastian Schweinsteiger and Morgan Schneiderlin joined Manchester United on the 13th of July 2015. Man United have completed the double signing of Germany midfielder Bastian Schweinsteiger and France international Morgan Schneiderlin. Schweinsteiger, who's 30, has signed a 3-year contract from Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich for a reported £14.5 million. Schneiderlin has moved from fellow Premier League club Southampton for a fee in the region of £25 million. The 25-year-old midfielder signed a 4-year contract with the option to extend it by a further year. United have already signed Memphis Depay, as we mentioned a few weeks ago, and defender Matteo Darmian, and the 2 new arrivals take their spending to more than £80 million. Bastian Schweinsteiger in numbers. So he's been at Bayern Munich from 2002 to 2015. 500 first-team appearances, 67 goals. And for Germany, 111 games, 23 goals. Major club honours, Champions League, he's got 1. He's got 8 Bundesligas. And German Cup, aka DFB Pokal, 7 of those. And International Honours World Cup winner in 2014, 3rd place in 2006 and 2010 as well. Whew, I think I need a pause for breath there. You know what, Jazzy Fizzle, you want to have your view on these transfers before I have mine? And then
Sure, and I'll start with the Man United transfers. I think the Schweinsteiger deal in itself is a very tidy deal. Now, obviously, I have injury concerns versus him. One of the players I would have liked to see Manchester United sign has actually gone to Crystal Palace in Yohan Cabaye. So I think that 10 million going up to 13 million with add-ons, that would have been a sweeter deal for me personally versus Schweinsteiger, just because of the injuries. But if you want to sign a player of pedigree who knows what it takes to win, who's a natural leader, right? Whereas, you look at that Manchester United squad at different points last season and you say, well, okay, you got Wayne Rooney running around doing his rah-rah thing, but is there another leader alongside him on the pitch? And he'd argue, no. So, to stabilize the team, just in terms of raw positioning, I think that's a great signing. Morgan Schneiderlin's a player that I've liked for quite some time. I think he will be, a solid fixture in that Manchester United midfield.
But for 2 years. But for 25 million compared to Bastian Schweinsteiger, who Schweinsteiger's got the pedigree. Even though he's 30, he has got legitimate pedigree. Like, wouldn't you have swapped those prices around? Him for 25 million, Schneiderlin for 14 and a half.
Well, this is the problem with the transfer market currently, specifically in England. I don't know about elsewhere, but specifically in England, this is the problem with the transfer market, right? So last week we talked about Arda Turan moving to Barcelona, even though there is the transfer embargo, right? The thing about Arda Turan moving, Arda Turan has won stuff with Atletico, okay? So it's okay to pay that kind of money,
It's
in
all
my
right.
opinion.
It's all right.
In I know the reference, and that's hilarious. But anyway, the point I was making is it's all right to pay that kind of money for somebody who's won something. That's why I'm not too aggrieved when you look at the list of honours that Bastian Schweinsteiger has. But what you pay for in terms of English clubs in the transfer market, and in some cases French clubs as well, is age and wear and tear. That's really what you're paying for, right? In the sense of you have an absolutely legendary goalkeeper in Iker Casillas going to Porto. He hasn't commanded an astounding fee, but when you look at what he's won, he should get one. Right? Now, to me, I know and I will go back to the Manchester United thing, but I just want to say this about Iker Casillas. The fact that Real Madrid let him leave, much like Bayern letting Bastian Schweinsteiger leave, to me, travesty. It's an absolute travesty because those players that have been at the club for so long, right? And in Casillas' case, it's like 25 years. Lifetime. Or a life sentence if you're in prison.
We find the defendants guilty.
Well, yeah,
there's an OWR right there. Somewhat obscure, but yeah.
They give you 25 to life, generally speaking. So the point is, for him to leave and go anywhere else, travesty in my opinion. He's supposed to retire, have a wonderful ceremony, either become a pundit or go into the backroom staff and just have everybody love him. That's what's supposed to happen with Iker Casillas. But then having said that though, if Raul is allowed to go the way that he left, I think that really set the precedent of what will happen with any other stars, homegrown stars at Real Madrid. To me, that's a shame. And, Bastian Schweinsteiger, for me, I personally believe he should have retired at Bayern Munich. That's what I believe. I'm not saying that I don't want him at Manchester United. Of course I do. But what I'm saying is, for what he's given to that club, for how long he was there for, again, he should have retired Bayern Munich player. He should be one of those one club players. That's what he should be.
Yeah.
But it seems like that is such a rare thing now. When you look at it, you see that, Xavi Hernandez, he's left Barcelona, right? Whereas for me, he should never leave. Yeah, he should just become part of the furniture. Right? And it's the same thing with Iker Casillas and Bastian Schweinsteiger. But overall, I think Manchester United have strengthened in an important position. I think Manchester United did need that added bite in the middle of the park. And let's not forget, injuries will be a factor with Michael Carrick now coming into the twilight of his career. So you need cover for him as well. And I think that's what you've got with both those players, plus something extra as well. And with Darmian, I think that's a brilliant signing in that he's a much more defensive-minded and versatile fullback. So, he's not going to bomb down the wing, at any given opportunity. He's not going to do that. As a matter of fact, he's actually going to play a lot like you, Liam.
What do you mean,
he'll probably get to the halfway line, get a nosebleed, and then decide to go back.
Hey, it's one of them was, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
I didn't say that there was.
If you know your limitations,
I'm actually happy that that's the case. On top of that, if you go and look at his, I think it's who scored stat. I think he was rated as just under a 7 or around about a 7 for all of last season. And on top of that, he's very, very good in possession in the sense of he knows to distribute the ball to other players, and he's known to make an interception or two every single game. And that's what you need. That's what you need, because last season, yes, Antonio Valencia is a serviceable right back, and Rafael's had his moments throughout his career, but for Louis van Gaal, he needs those disciplined players who know how to stay back.
Yeah.
And that's what Darmian is. So yes, he will add to an attack, but defensively, he'll make sure that the shape is retained. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Manchester United do tactically as to whether or not they stay with the 4-4-2 diamond or a 4-3-3 or even go back to the 3-5-2. Be very interesting to see what Manchester United do.
I mean, well, you know, what about some of the other transfers as well? What do you reckon?
Well, I have to say, I think, as I say, the Young Kabay one for me is one of the better deals. The Jorginho Wijnaldum, I've been looking forward to him moving to another club and away from the Eredivisie for a long time because I've found that he's a very talented player, very versatile player, and I'd like to see what he would do in another league. Newcastle is a great spot for him, mostly because, you know, he's got a couple of countrymen there in Jan Maat and, of course, Tim Krul. Other players that played in the league, like Seaman Luke de Jong as well. So, you know, it's almost the Eredivisie homecoming in Newcastle, if you will. And as you well know, Liam, what happens in Newcastle stays in Newcastle. So,
yeah, I'm right, baby.
You know, so, you know, I think that's going to be quite an interesting move. I think the Begovic move to Chelsea is massive. There's no understating that. In that, obviously, Stoke have lost a very key player. But what Chelsea have got, to me, they're in the same position that they were in last season. They've got 2 number ones.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you let a keeper of the quality of Czech go, you've got to be able to replace that.
They've got 2 number ones again, you know. And for only 8 million, I'm surprised that more. Well, a reported 8 million. I'm surprised that more teams were not, you know, making more serious and firm bids for him. I'm really not. Like here's the thing. Yes, David De Gea may be staying at the moment, right? But with Iker Casillas going, the door is wide open for a redunculous bid and for him to go to Real Madrid. Not to say that I would want that to happen, because I honestly think, you know, he's been great for Manchester United over the last couple of seasons. He's really blossomed into the goalkeeper that everybody was hoping he would be.
No, that you were hoping for. Hey, not all of us are Man United supporters. You were hoping for him to blossom.
You know, but at the same time, as I say, if he does go, you have to look at that deal that takes Begovic to Chelsea and you say, you know, Manchester United missed a beat there. And the same with the Czech deal going to Arsenal, even though I think, you know, that has a lot to do with Petr Cech's family, so on and so forth. But, you know, those 2 deals specifically in relation to goalkeepers make you think, why didn't anybody else make a more serious bid? I think, you know, Watford have done some tidy business. You know, it's not been big and splashy and prominent, but what it is effective.
Well, we were talking about the Bayrami deal when we were down at Hackney Wick FC as well, and it's like, you know what? That's a great deal.
And in the car on the way.
I mean, that's a great deal.
Great deal. Versatile player in Bayrami who can play all across the black line, all across midfield.
You said the black line.
No, back line. All across the back line, all across midfield. You know, very, very versatile player. And he's got the Premier League experience as well, having played for West Ham. So, you know, that will help them immensely. And of course, he's got the pedigree of having, you know, won a trophy recently as well. So, you know, I think that's a quality signing that will only add to the talent that they've already got there. So I think that's a great deal. Just trying to think of a couple other deals to mention. Well, obviously the big one, Raheem Sterling with this reported 49 million. I think the real winners of this deal, QPR. And the reason why I say that is an extra 10 million or close to 10 million, right, to help them out with their own financial fair play.
Yeah, and the potential £60 million bill that we mentioned a few months back.
Yeah. So, you know, if you go and take that and you say that's almost 10 million off that, It's a £50 million bill. How they're going to go and raise that, I'm not entirely sure, but I think Charlie Austin may be a part of that. And, you go from there. But in terms of how the deal was manufactured, I think this whole thing of calling in sick and not really being sure if he's going to go on tour or not. Here's the thing, right? I'm not saying that in some cases it's not necessary for you to do whatever it is you need to do in order for you to go and secure a move. I understand that, in that there is a small window of time for everybody, and even smaller window of time for sports people to make as much money as they can. I'm aware of that, right? But I also believe that there are ways of doing things, right? In the sense of, he could have carried himself with a lot more professionalism, and for me, self-respect. The self-respect is far more important.
Of course.
He could have just said, right, I want to move, but I'm going to give Liverpool the best that I can up until I do move. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. So that means you're going to fulfill all your obligations, understanding that you're going to move eventually, and then complete the move with class, right? All of this now, it makes you look at him as an individual and say, I don't know if I'd want him at my club. I don't know if I'd want him associated with any of my brands, right? Because now I'm questioning, what kind of person is he?
Well, do you know what? Yeah, sticking on that point, we actually were going to save this for a special feature that we've got lined up. But speaking of, I'm not sure wanting that person that representing my brand and at my club, you got to look at his agent, and that is one of them. That is one of them ones where Saido Berahino sacked Sterling's controversial agent AD Ward from 9th of July 2015. Ward has become the villain of the piece for many Liverpool fans, as Sterling and Liverpool's bitter rift continues to be played out in public, with the player seemingly set on forcing a move away from Anfield. Ward revealed on Thursday morning that Sterling and Liverpool manager Brendan Rodgers have had a breakdown in trust, in inverted commas, in the latest development in an increasingly bitter saga. It was also Ward that claimed Sterling would not sign a new deal with Liverpool for £900,000 per week back in May, as well as a certain labelling of Jamie Carragher. But also, his role in Sterling's decision to seek a move away from the club has been much discussed. Now, it was one of them. It's emerged that Ward has lost one of his high-profile clients, with Berahino quitting. I'm no longer working with Saido, Ward said, according to the Mail. You'll have to ask him for the reasons. With no comment from Berahino, the Daily Mail have reported that Berahino, who was called up to the England squad last November, is said to have become disillusioned with Ward following Sterling's attempts to leave Anfield. Like Sterling, Berahino fell out with his club when he told certain entities of his desire to go on to bigger and better things. Now, that's another piece to the puzzle. In terms of this, I've said already that I think it's AD Ward who's done the crap disturbing with the whole Sterling getting linked away from Anfield thing. That's what I think. But the fact that Berahino has dropped AD Ward like a bad habit, it kind of says a lot. It kind of says a lot. But Jezzy, sorry, I just thought I'd add that point on to what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I think the other thing that, you pointed on, you touched on the right thing, if I can get my words out. You touched on the right thing there, in that I think, yeah, his agent played a major part in it, but at the same time, right, here's the bit. An agent can't act on his own, right? An agent will always act on behalf of his client. So his client has to have some major input. Do you see what I mean? So with that, again, I say, well, what kind of person are you? I understand that there may be a rift between you and Brendan Rodgers, so on and so forth. But if you look at it in any other kind of workplace scenario, right? And I'll use myself as an example. I remember in my old post, yeah, I was vocal about my disappointment with it. I was very upset, and at one point, management had even pulled me up and said, listen, you're being a divisive factor here. You kind of need to rein it in a bit. And I'm like, well, no, here's the thing, I'm upset, right? And I'm going to let you know that I'm upset. I'm not going to hide it, right? But in terms of, me putting myself forward in the best light to go and move on to bigger and better things, that whole thing that I had with the management at the time did not help me. Did not help me at all, right? In the sense of, if they wanted to, they could have held back references, could have been nondescript in references, could have even written a bad reference. Even though legally and technically you're not able to do that anymore. But, within the remits, they could have actually pointed out, yeah, there was a point in time where he was difficult to handle. Right? Whereas none of that actually helps anybody in any situation. So after, some real soul searching within myself and understanding of my own personal situation, it was a matter of, well, look, okay, are you happy where you are? No. Does it suck? Absolutely. But the only way that you're going to get out of this is to go and actually be better by, being a better person in the workplace. That's the only way to do it.
Well, it's a case of on the 10th anniversary edition of Bret Hart Wrestling with Shadows, they had an interview with Paul J, who was the producer. Who was actually the producer of the documentary, and it was like they also had an interview with Bret Hart as well, where actually it was Bret who said, "Bro, you ain't got to be a dirty rat to make it." And I think AD Ward needs to kind of take heed to that personally. As a Liverpool fan, it's a case of, it's like, you ain't got to be a dirty rat to make it. You life will be better, business will be better if you were just a bit of a better guy. And it's one of them was that isn't. The whole thing with Sterling is not just burning bridges. In the words of Jim Cornette, it's not just burning bridges; it's bridge over the River Kwai, straight up, done. You're blowing them up. But it's one of them ones. In regards to a lot of the transfers, I'm just gonna kind of skim over some of them. Where the Alderweireld thing for Tottenham, that's a great signing. That is actually potentially a great signing and for a relatively fair price, really. But the fact of the matter is, Southampton not seeking legal action, probably a smart move, because their beef is not with Atletico. Their beef really and truly is with the player. So they withdrew. If the player doesn't want to sign for you, doesn't want to sign for you. Just withdraw quietly and sit in the corner. Manquillo leaving a year early. Bit of a shame. He didn't really get much of a chance to shine. And if Nathaniel Khan gets injured, I would have liked to have had Manquillo as that cover, personally. Martin Skirtle signed a new contract. Very happy with that. I wanted that to get sorted. It's one of them. That for me, I've always said on PT shows, I've always said to anyone who will listen, for me, defense is pretty much the most important position on the pitch. Aside from the goalkeeper, the most important outfield position on the pitch for me is defense. If you've got a solid defense, you've got a great foundation to do great things. So I'm very glad that Martin Skirtle has signed the new deal. Matteo Darmian, for what, 12.75 million, if that's right. The Darmian thing for Man United gives Man United more defensive options, which is where they kept falling down last season. Their midfield wasn't brilliant either, which makes Bastian Schweinsteiger proven World Cup winner. As you said, legit OWR right there. He's got a pedigree. He's got the pedigree. I'm not talking about Triple H's finisher. Schweinsteiger has got the pedigree. I don't see that as a risky move at all, especially not for £14 million. That's not bad for a World Cup winner and a multi-time Bundesliga winner as well. I don't see much risk in that. Hey, perception and statistics are exactly the same. Both can be manipulated to fit an agenda. So it's one of them ones. Anyone saying that Schweinsteiger is a risk? Yeah, no, don't agree with you. Kabay going from Paris Saint-Germain to Palace, that was a surprise. And for £10 million, that's not a bad price. That is actually not a bad price. Rising to 13 million with add-ons, that's still not a bad price. I'm a fan of Yohan Kabay. He's a quality player. But Paris Saint-Germain, they're in the same position as Man City were a few years ago. Flinging money. So certain players are not going to really get a look in. So There's one of them was, but Van Ginkel and Shay Given going to Stoke, that's them strengthening. The Shaqiri deal was a surprise when it was like, wait, they're being linked to Shaqiri, really? And it was, I'm almost glad Sheridan Shaqiri didn't actually move, because that would have been looked upon as a huge step down for him. But Wijnaldum going to Newcastle, that's an interesting one, because Newcastle, what they've got some serious work to do in pre-season, and it's good that they're actually kind of starting it already. But 24, Wijnaldum already in international as well. I think that's a good move. Valon Rami going from Hamburg to Watford, good deal for Watford. As you said earlier, Jazzy, Watford doing their business and doing it well. Yeah, there's a LL Cool J reference, harking back to Saturday. No, because that is one of them. I just remember asking the question: "Are my lips ain't white? Are they?" Had to lick them to make sure. Like, you can't have white ashy lips on camera. But it's what ashy Larry,
because they'll show up even in color correction.
They show up even more ashy Larry. But it is one of them was Valon Rami. He's got Premier League experience, and that's a huge thing that Watford need, being a newly promoted club. So I think that's good business. Josh McEachran going to Brentford. Part of me is glad, part of me is sad. Sad that he never really got a fair shake at Chelsea because of all the money and the revolving door of players there. And it's another sad indictment of Chelsea's youth policy. And we've discussed this on Pitch Talk Push Points before in terms of the glass ceiling for young players at Chelsea Football Club. Same with Manchester City. But it is one of them was Josh McEachran going to Brentford. At least he will get game time in the Championship. And the Championship is pretty damn competitive. So it's one of them was he's going to get very good game time there as well. I'm a fan of Josh McEachran. When I saw him play against Manchester City, he was like, yeah, this kid could be something if he gets regular opportunities. So it is one of them ones. Keeping Mikel, but letting Josh McEachran go. Questionable decision. But anyway, it is one of them ones where I think Josh McEachran will kick on at Brentford, and he could be a major part of Brentford FC's future as well. So I like that. Stoke taking on Glenn Johnson. Again, them taking on an experienced player is important for him. So that's a good deal. I was actually quite sad to see Glenn Johnson go, personally. I mean, I've always been a fan of his. Iker Casillas going to Porto. His parents ain't happy about it, but it ain't his parents going out onto the pitch. It's a shame the way Casillas left Real Madrid, because of how long he's been there for. I mean, he's been there for so long. But sometimes you got to say goodbye. And Casillas was very emotional, and understandably so, at leaving the club. But that is one of them. Porto get a legitimate world-class goalkeeper. And world-class is not an exaggeration with Iker Casillas. Is there any argument to that? Anyone want to argue that Iker Casillas ain't world-class? I didn't think so.
No, I will.
It wasn't supposed to be a rhetorical question, but
I will.
All right.
And the reason why I argue that he isn't is because when you look at what he's won, right, it's a matter of there's no way that this argument could be serious. Of course he's world class. Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing as well is he's just had a poor run of form. And here's the other thing. I think that it's all of the stuff that's happened off the pitch at Real Madrid that's affected him on the pitch.
Of course.
Right? And with Real Madrid being one of the biggest clubs in the world, one of the most scrutinized clubs in the world, in terms of in the media and by the own fans. Look, for a player that has been so good for such a long time, he's allowed to have a little bit of a dip. Right? Because like we said about Lionel Messi and like we always say about Cristiano Ronaldo, here's the bit. He's just one player on an 11-man team.
Of course.
If the other players in front of him, not just his defense, but his midfielders and even his forwards too, if they defended in front of him, he'd actually look so much better.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. I mean, you look at. I mean, that Chelsea defense is probably going to make Kazimir Begovic look better than he is. But Begovic is a quality goalkeeper. I'm surprised he didn't actually go to Chelsea about a year or two ago because his name was being bandied about with him a year or two ago. So it's an interesting one. But you know, he's going to play second fiddle to Thibaut Courtois. Definitely is what it is going to be.
He's going to be the cup goalkeeper.
Yeah. But it's of no surprise. It is of no surprise. So he's going to know that as well. Speaking of cup players and benched players, especially the Raheem Sterling deal. I've been waiting all week for this.
Here we go.
Yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel, gladly, because I hate these transfer sagas when all you hear is rumor, BS, and supposition. I would rather deal in fact. More parasitic media entities might want to think about that more often. Dealing in fact, not rumor, not supposition. But fact of the matter is, as I said, I think AD Ward has been behind this. AD Ward is going to come out smelling like roses professionally because of this. Ethically, he's going to look questionable because for me as an agent, it looks like professionally he's doing his job because he's brokering a huge move. But the way he's gone about it, and for me, he's putting money above the welfare and potential career development of a young player. Raheem Sterling's 20. It's one of them ones. We've already seen in recent years what Manchester City have done to young, especially English players with huge potential. Jack Rodwell and Scott Sinclair, to name two. Michael Richards, you could throw him in there as well, to be perfectly honest. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, I said ethically, I don't agree with the way this has been done. I think very much AD Ward could have been the level head and been like, you know what, for your development, this is probably the best club you could be at right now because you are pretty much almost guaranteed game time every week. But if he wants to go to Man City, you know what? As a Liverpool supporter, I hope I'm proved right, and that he just ends up as a very expensive bench warmer. As an England supporter, I hope he kicks on and does well. This is where the kind of 50-50 thing for me comes in because I hate seeing talent wasted. I really do. It frustrates me to see talent wasted. I mentioned about Josh McEachran at Chelsea earlier, never getting a full chance. And I have been a fan of his for a while. It is a case, and I've mentioned him on numerous occasions, but it is a case of I hate seeing talent, especially young talent, being wasted and rotting on benches when they need opportunities to get seasoned and to develop. It's one of them ones. But the fact of the matter is, like I've said to a number of people, Jezzy, I said to you and G-Man on the way back from Mabley Green at Hackney Wick FC. After that, it was a case of I was like, you know what? Sterling is not worth £50 million. And Liverpool are not saying he's worth £50 million. We are in the mindset of this is a young player with infinite potential that we don't actually really want to sell. But if we do sell him, we're going to sell him for stupid money. Exactly the same as Suarez, exactly the same as Torres. We didn't really want to sell those guys, but there are certain offers that you can't refuse. £49 million for a player you bought for £500,000 4 years ago. It's one of them was the deal benefits us and QPR as well, because QPR get nearly £10 million off the deal. We basically make a £40 million profit on a player we bought for £500,000 3 years ago, who, in all honesty, actually hasn't done anything. You look at Bastian Schweinsteiger. He's won Bundesliga titles. He's won a World Cup. Raheem Sterling has nothing in his trophy cabinet yet. He's only been with us 3 seasons. 3 seasons, and he's commanding this much of a fee. That's how you know Man City are desperate to fill their homegrown quota, because otherwise they wouldn't be spending this big money And again, for me, Man City are sending very, very mixed messages, extremely mixed messages, because you build a £200 million training complex for young players, and you talk about, we want to start focusing on youth, but then you go and buy someone else's young player for £49 million. Send it. You're more confused. You seem more confused than Scooby-Doo, and you're doing it to fill a homegrown quota.
Raggy? But no, I have to agree with you.
That's more confused than Scooby-Doo. That's baffling.
I have to agree with you, right? And I think the homegrown part of it there, you actually touched on a very interesting subject, because, here's the other bit. As you said, Raheem Sterling is not worth 49 million anywhere in the world.
Of course not.
I'm sorry, right?
I don't even know how that study said he was the most valuable player. If you want to talk about a young player
who you could feasibly spend that kind of money on, I'd say Paul Pogba. Right? And the reason why I mentioned him is look at what he's won in the time that he's won it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's only been at Juventus, what, 3 years, 4 years?
This is my thing.
Right.
And he's gone to a Champions League final. I'm like, what's Raheem Sterling done?
He's done bugger all. That's why Liverpool,
right?
We are laughing all the way to the bank right now. I'm just hoping we don't spunk this money away again like we did with the Torres money. That's the other side of my concern.
The other thing that makes me laugh about this whole scenario is, okay, I understand that money is a big driving force in all of this, but did Raheem Sterling not see what happened to the likes of a Jack Rodwell, a Scott Sinclair, to a lesser extent a James Milner, Michael Richards?
Did he not listen to Pit Talk Live?
Even his teammate Daniel Sturridge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
couldn't Daniel Sturridge actually tell him, no, seriously, bro, don't go there. It's too crowded. I was there as a youngster coming through the youth team. I had to leave. I went to Chelsea. That didn't work out. Went to Bolton. Got a little bit of a wave. Went back to Chelsea. That didn't work out. And now I'm here. And now everything's good. So why would you want to leave? Right? And that's just me paraphrasing for Daniel Sturridge. Right?
Yeah.
Why do it? Let's not forget, didn't Kolo Touré come to Liverpool via Manchester City?
Yeah.
So Kolo Touré could tell him, don't go there. Right? I left there to come here. There really is no appeal there. There is no appeal as a young player. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Right? Yes, James Milner's gone. Right, but look at where James Milner went from. He just left Manchester City to come to Liverpool to play.
Yeah, to get more game time, yeah.
Right, so you've got like 3 former Manchester City players there that will tell you, don't go there. Why do you still want to go there?
It's money. I think it's clearly money. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's all good you wanting to go there and win things. But then Scott Sinclair and Jack Rodwell had them same ideas. And I swear Jack Rodwell and Scott Sinclair didn't even end up playing enough games to get winners medals.
No, they didn't. I mean,
so it defeats the object of going somewhere to win things.
The only 2 players that actually did that are currently at Liverpool now, Kolo Touré and James Milner.
Yeah.
Right? And here's the other bit. They still left anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Because after a while it was like, no, it's not about the money. Yeah, it was like, I don't want your money. I don't need your money. I just want to play football.
No, he didn't. No,
yeah,
I don't even like that song. But on a personal note, I don't even like that song. But Jezzy, all I want to say to you with that singing was,
if I wanted crap out of you, I'll pick it out of your teeth.
But seriously, I just think of all the places he could possibly go to for the astronomical fee, it's the worst one.
Yeah. Also,
the absolute worst one.
For your, no, you know what? I agree with you on that point, and also for your singing, I wanted to give you
5 stars. 5 stars.
This guy thinks he's hilarious.
5 stars.
Okay, cool. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, that is one of the worst places he could possibly go. Second being Chelsea. Anyway, but it's perplexing to me. It really is perplexing to me. I mean, as I said, I think the agent is the crap disturber in this whole situation. And well, but you know what? But
I don't think that Raheem Sterling is as innocent as you're making him out to be.
No. I'm not saying
personally he is just as much to blame in this scenario.
No. Hold on. I'm not saying he's completely innocent, but I'm saying it's one of them ones where the fact of the matter is he's 20 years old. This agent like we've discussed before, and we've got, I think it's the Pitch Talk push point about Henrik Larsson's advice to young players, AD Ward and Raheem Sterling as well. It's a case of young players need to start focusing on development, and agents. I personally think agents should be more responsible because they're dealing with young players, and also the issue with agents now being deregulated as well. And remember, we're very concerned about the future development of young players with agents being deregulated, because now any Tom, Dick, and Harry can be an agent. So that you're going to see more cases like the Sterling case happening, where the agent is forcing something through and getting in the kid's ear and saying, "Nah, you need to move here. You need to move here," even if it's not the best thing for them. The agents in wrestling vernacular are just trying to get themselves over, and they'll do anything to do it. Politicking, playing games, whatever, burning bridges. That's my major league concern. Of course, Raheem Sterling has an influence in it, but AD Ward, being a friend of his, an older gentleman as well, there's going to be influence exerted there. And of course, like we mentioned before, AD Ward has recently started up his own company, so he wants a bit of notoriety. He wants a big deal to say, yeah, you know what? Look at the big deal I brokered. So that's why I think AD Ward is the main crap disturber in this. But I'm not saying Raheem Sterling's innocent either. If he wants to go, like I've said before, if you don't want to play for Liverpool, the door's there. Don't let it hit you in the backside on your way out. Because I personally want to support a team that those players pulling on that shirt want to pull on that shirt. If you don't want to pull on the shirt, bugger off. Simple as that for me. Simple as that. But you know what, Russ Vernon, you wanted to ask Jazzy Fizzle a question on the Man United signings. Then we're going to have Mike Hardiman. Then we're going to move on to our next point.
Yes. Right. Good evening, Jazzy. Right. The question I would like to ask you is, with the signings of Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin today by Manchester United,
yeah,
where do you think he will leave Michael Carrick in terms of playing regular football at Old Trafford? Do you feel he may have to go out on loan to get some first team football with those two joining the club today and this summer?
No, is the short answer to that. The longer answer to this is, look, Michael Carrick's a quality player. He's been an excellent servant for Manchester United. He's actually been a very good player throughout his career. Underrated by a lot of people, in my own personal opinion, right? But one of the things that's taken its toll over the last couple of seasons is injuries, right? He's had quite a few injuries over the last 2 seasons. So he's not guaranteed to play as many games just because of the injury factor, right? Now, does that mean that he's not effective when he's in the side? Of course it doesn't mean that. He's very effective in the side. One of the things that I've made a note of last season was that when he was playing, things were much more cohesive. Manchester United were much more effective in possession. And defensively, he provided shape, right? And on top of that, let's not forget, he's also slotted in at centre-back quite a few times, right? So his versatility helps out as well. Is there any reason for him to go anywhere? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? He has the experience of being an older player in the dressing room. He's got the experience of being at Manchester United, so he knows what it means. And he can go and instill that in the likes of a Morgan Schneiderlin, for example, as well as the other youngsters that are coming through. And of course, let's not forget, he is a quality passer of the ball, right? Why would you want to go and let somebody like that leave without good reason?
Oh, yeah.
And so far, yes, you've added additional competition. Yes, you've added other players that can do a similar thing. But here's the bit. He's been at Manchester United longer. And on top of that, I personally believe he still has a lot to offer. It's not as if, for example, his gas tank is running on low or empty, because it's not. And now with the additional support of having those two also in the mix, it means that when he does play, he can be more effective, because now he can get more rest. And if he does get injured, he's got more time to recover, because there's 2 other players that can also fulfill that role. So I don't know if that answered your question comprehensively enough, Russ. But if it hasn't, hey, hit me up on Twitter. I'll be happy to go into more detail.
Definitely. You know what,
yes,
Mike?
Jazzy, thank you very much.
You know, Mike Hardiman, you wanted to jump in as well, didn't you?
Yeah, basically, the main ones are the two United ones. I think they're two very, very good signings for United. I think that's going to really boost their chances for the coming season as well, with pushing for the title again. And I think, that they're two real quality players. Sneijderlin was one that I'm surprised that Wenger didn't look at, because obviously he said he knows him from the French game and that as well. And would have been a good option to teach Coquelin, as I've kind of said in previous shows as well, alluded to that a little bit. So I think that's a surprising one that we didn't possibly put a little bid in for him, but the overall is that he was going to go to United anyway. And the Schweinsteiger one, it was basically the fact he's going to be working with Van Gaal again, was what done it for him.
No, I hear that. I mean, it is one of them ones where I said I think Man United have done good business on those. Those transfer fees probably should have been swapped around, but at the end of the day, a lot of teams are strengthening again, and this is the important thing. I mean, I saw one post in a football group I'm on Facebook saying, "Oh no," from a Liverpool supporter who's a former teammate at Lancaster Youth Centre FC as well, where it was kind of like, yeah, none of the Liverpool signings really inspire me with anything. It's like, bro, you ain't even gonna wait until they get on the pitch and kick a ball before saying, "Oh, I'm not inspired by any of them."
But the thing is, with Liverpool, they've done their business pretty quietly. Like they've kind of gone about doing things the right way, and they've kind of looked at players that perform well over the past couple of seasons. They've gone out and brought them on that reason, not on the fact of who they are.
I mean, it's one of them ones. I mean, I'm happy with the business we've done so far, and there's still another month and a half of the transfer window left. So it's like people whinging and complaining now. Oh, my team's not done any business, bro. It's like, wait, just exercise some patience, damn it. That's what's frustrating.
Well, I think Liverpool have probably got some of the better signings that like United have done good business. City have done good business, but like Liverpool are up there. They've done some really good business themselves as well. And I think the likes of Danny Ings, the likes of Nathaniel Klein are going to be players to watch in the coming season.
No, definitely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I mean, it's for me, it's a case of, I mean, the whole Raheem Sterling for 49 million, laughing all the way to the bank. Us and QPR. If he kicks on, fine. If he doesn't, hell, fine. But it's one of them was the way now with Sterling, the way when he goes, the way, especially with the way the move has been conducted as well. It's a case of he's burnt bridges, so he's not going to get a lot of sympathy if he flops. If he does well, it'd be like, well, for 49 million, he should be doing well. So he's kind of backed himself into a corner. 20 years old, him and his agent have pretty much backed him into a corner where if he flops, he is going to be looked at as one of the biggest flops of all time in the Premier League.
Oh, of course. And with that kind of money, 49 million, they're not going to pay that out for a bench player.
Well,
he's going to be put in there in some shape or form, like whether it's going to be to replace James Milner, obviously who's moved in the opposite direction, and play on the left-hand side or something like that. I don't know how it's going to work for Man City, but 49 million is going to be quite a key figure for Man City in the coming season, I think.
Well, you'd think that, right?
Yeah, but look at
Rodwell.
Rodwell. They paid 20 million for him and let him rot on the bench.
Yeah.
So there's no guarantee. I mean, who's he going to dislodge? Samir Nasri, Jesus Navas. There's the caliber of players he's going to be competing with. And I think Raheem Sterling has said on occasion he wants to play up top. Well, he's been played up top before, and it's been like, well, you are definitely not dislodging Sergio Aguero. You are definitely not dislodging him. So it's one of them ones. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And the other bit to add to that, didn't they sign like Wilfred Bonney for like 30 odd million?
Exactly.
And he's on the bench. And he's actually a striker. And then, of course, you've got Eliakim Mangala as well. He signed for 30 odd million.
Yeah.
And he spent a big chunk of time on the bench. So, to me, what Manchester City pay out in terms of transfer fees, is really inconsequential because they spent some astronomical sums on players that really, in a lot of cases, it really just hasn't worked out at all.
Of course. Big transfer fee does not guarantee that that's going to work. I mean, that's why I'm kind of concerned with Roberto Firmino. I'm slightly concerned with that. It's at 29 million. I'm really hoping he does well.
But then they also had the same thing with who am I thinking of?
Andy
Javi Martinez? Not Javi Martinez. It was another Javi. I know that it wasn't Martinez because Martinez plays for Bayern.
I'm thinking of Javi Garcia.
Javi Garcia is the one I'm thinking of, right? So they paid like 30 odd million for him, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that was a big waste. So, for me, I think OJ is right in the sense of it's got a lot to do with the homegrown quota. And I also think, well, look, who's he going to do? Who is he actually going to dislodge in that team? Right? Okay, Jesus Navas, his delivery has been inconsistent in terms of a final ball.
But it's so Sterling.
All round, he's still more of a threat for me personally and more of a complete player, right? Because you look at Raheem Sterling, you say, does he have a final ball? No, not really.
Not yet, anyway.
Does he have a goal threat? No, not really.
Well,
so who's he gonna go? Who's he actually beating out of that team?
No, exactly. I mean,
who's he doing that for?
Yeah.
And okay, you might want to put him into the starting 11 for name value, right? But when you look at some of the flack that he's going to get, not just from Liverpool fans, but football fans across the Premier League and across the world, it's like, I don't think he's ready for that life.
Well, I mean, it's one of them was he's already being mocked, for it. But I mean, one thing that that Jennifer Evans has just posted on our Facebook page, facebook.com/pitch talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group, join the footballing revolution we're working so hard to create. Jennifer Evans has said, Raheem Sterling, who's to say he's more in love with football than money? He would have seen all the young players bought and benched by Man City, and he has still agreed to go there. This will probably be the deal of Sterling's career, if you believe the papers. His personal terms are £250,000 a week. Let's be honest, who wouldn't go? It's not a bad gig for sitting on the bench every week for 90 minutes. He's probably laughing all the way to the bank too. But there's the concern. What's more important to young players these days? Career development or making a crap load of money? I understand in terms of what Jesu, you were saying earlier about there's a short window in terms of footballers making money, but that window's 10 to 15 years. I mean, it's longer than a pro wrestler's bloody window of opportunity, barring serious injury. It's one of them ones. Potentially, if you light the world up at 20, you play till you're 35. There's a good 15 years there as an outfield player. So that's not half bad. But it is one of those. I mean, I can understand, people wouldn't turn down 250 grand a week, but it is a case of it's career development. I mean, what is more important to you? Playing football, getting minutes, developing your career and becoming a great player, or chasing the money, sitting on the bench and potentially letting your career dwindle and becoming average and ending up at Aston Villa in 3 years. And no disrespect to Aston Villa, but you look at Scott Sinclair's situation.
Yeah.
Jack Rodwell to Sunderland as well. Same thing.
Totally understand the sympathy where you come from, and I thank Jennifer Evans for her question. I do. Well, it wasn't really a question, more of a comment, but I thank her for her interaction anyway. Thank you for being a part of our Monday Night Footballing Fix. It's also your Monday Night Footballing Fix and the footballing revolution that we are working so hard to create. But I do think that you've raised an excellent point in that it is literally like, £250,000 a week. Here's the thing, right? Unless you're a player that's going to actually go and increase merchandise sales, like a David Beckham, right? Or a Cristiano Ronaldo, right? I can't justify paying him that. And even those two players, when they moved, where they moved to, they came with trophies.
Of course, but also they had the brand and the marquee value.
Those things.
But they had the brand and the marquee value as well.
This is it.
I mean, Ronaldo had the brand and the marquee value.
doesn't have a single one. He's not an established brand, unless you want to talk about, his hair care products. And even then, it's like, well, what hair care products is he using? Nobody actually knows. It might even be his girlfriend's for all we know. But the point that I'm making is that there's no brand there, right? He's not essentially marketable, right? And now, with his image being made even worse in terms of PR damage from the whole saga of this protracted move, right? His image isn't particularly good anyway for a lot of people. On top of that, he doesn't come with pedigree of having won anything, right? Because all I can tell you is, he grew up in Northwest London, as far as I remember.
Stonebridge, yeah.
Went to QPR as part of youth, left there to go to Liverpool. Essentially had a couple of good games, not even a whole good season where he, literally you could say, yeah, he's arguably the best young player in the Premier League or in England, much less in the world. And now all of a sudden we're talking about 50 million and paying him £250,000 a week.
Crazy as cat crap.
For what exactly is what I'm asking, right? Now, if you're telling me that you're going to sign a Marco Reus or a Mario Götze for that kind of money, all right, specifically a Mario Götze, I'd say okay, because the guy won a World Cup. He scored the winning goal.
Yeah, and these dudes were crucial to it, yeah.
On top of that, he's kind of won everything that there was to win in Germany anyway. Right, so if you're talking about him, I'd say okay. Right, on top of that, he's quite marketable. He's one of the he was a cover star last year for Pro Evolution Soccer. Right, and he's got quite a few other endorsement deals. So here's the bit. If you want to talk about somebody like that, I'd say, yeah, all right. Even a Neymar, I'd say, yeah, all right. But Raheem Sterling, for what?
I mean, you know what? My economist just said a couple of interesting things in the Skype chat. Would you like to articulate them for the people?
I just think that with Sterling, it could do damage for his England career as well if he's not actually getting regular game time, because he's not long broken into the England squad.
Exactly.
It's not long, he's kind of become a regular now in the starting 11 for England, and he has, a good season with Liverpool last season, and I think this could really do damage for his England career as well as his actual team career as well, if he doesn't actually get regular game time for Man City.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, exactly. I mean, I think it's what, like I said earlier, as a Liverpool fan, whether he kicks on or not, well, as soon as he moves, it doesn't become our concern anymore. But for the good of the England team, I'm concerned about a move like this because at the end of the day, it could really impact his career negatively. From an England perspective, I hope he kicks on and does well. I really do.
And I've got one more point to make to Jennifer Evans' comment as well, and then I'll leave it at this, right? So we're talking about him potentially going to Manchester City, making a mint, right? Because that's literally what he would do, even if he sits on the bench, right? Let's talk about some of the other players that went to Manchester City for a mint, made a mint, and then decided to leave anyway, right? Or were forced to leave anyway. Here's the thing. If the grass was so much greener over at Manchester City, why did those players leave?
Yeah. And also at the end of the day, it is one of them ones where to coin the phrase WCW, sorry, Man City are going to end up, screwing my own OWR, Man City are going to end up potentially looking like WCW in a way, the world's largest ATM machine, where people would just go in there for inflated contracts, make a crap load of money, then bugger off somewhere else after a couple of years. So it's one of them ones. I mean, you could see it in that way. But you know what? Yeah, you have a general talking point that's points that we actually wanted to go through as well. We alluded to it a little earlier, but it's in terms of the women's game, because Because there are a lot of very interesting key figures from the Women's World Cup in Canada 2015. From July 7th, 2015, the FIFA Women's World Cup Canada 2015 came to an end after 52 matches played over 30 days and a total attendance of more than 1.35 million. Plenty of records have fallen along the way, not least of which was the USA claiming a historic third title. Now, the attendance stats: total attendance 1,353,506, average attendance 26,029, biggest attendance was 54,027 for the Canada v England quarterfinal in Vancouver. 7 matches had over 50,000 spectators in attendance. Canada 2015 set a new total record attendance record for a FIFA competition other than the FIFA World Cup. Competition stats: total of 146 goals scored, an average of 2.81 goals per match compared to 2.69 in 2011, average of 1.73.7 joules per match compared to 155.5 in 2011. Source Prozone Sports GmbH at the quarterfinal stage. Average of 374.3 short passes per match compared to 332.2 in 2011. Again, Prozone Sports GmbH were the source on that. England achieved the historic first victory over Germany after 18 defeats and 2 draws. USA v Japan beat the previous record set in 2011 for the highest scoring FIFA final in FIFA Women's World Cup history. Carly Lloyd scored the first ever hat-trick in a FIFA Women's World Cup final, and USA surpassed Germany as the top scoring team in the FIFA Women's World Cup history with 112 goals. Also, Carly Lloyd of the USA has also got goal of the tournament from the FIFA WWC as well. She actually won that based on the vote, which, as you will have seen on our social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and others as well. You will have seen us posting out about that. Now, moving and grooving on as well. It is a case of television stats. Canada, CTV, and RDS broke the Canadian viewing record for any FIFA Women's World Cup match. Quarterfinal average audience of 3.2 million. In the USA, Fox scored its biggest ever audience for a football match in the semi-final. Average audience of 8.4 million. France W9 station achieved its best figures on record and set a new French digital terrestrial viewing record. That was for the quarterfinal. Average audience of 4.1 million. In Japan, Fuji TV attracted more than twice the number of viewers for the semi-final than in the 2011 semi-final, 9.3 million. Broadcasters in the following countries beat the highest TV audience for any match from the 2011 edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup: Australia, Brazil, China, Korea Republic, and Norway. It was the digital stats as well. 20 million unique visitors to FIFA.com's FIFA Women's World Cup section, consuming 225 million pages and spending 7.8 billion seconds engaged. 178% increase in daily visitors to FIFA.com. The FIFA Women's World Cup section compared to 2011, a 130% increase in followers for the FIFA Women's World Cup Facebook page to 662,000, an 81% increase in Twitter followers for @FIFA WWC, their Twitter handle, to 222,000, 37% increase in followers for FIFA on Instagram to 1.37 million, 9 billion impressions of tweets about the FIFA Women's World Cup. FIFA's YouTube channel had its all-time monthly views record in June, 28 million views versus 19 million in June 2014 during the 2014 Men's FIFA World Cup. So that's quite a big stat right there. Canada 2015 attracted 19 million views on FIFA's YouTube channel with 38 million minutes of content consumed. 7 million views in the United States, 2 million in Canada, 1.7 million in Japan during the competition, plus 15 hours of the 6th FIFA Women's Football Symposium live stream as well. Over 100,000 fans have attended the 6 fan zones in Vancouver as well. Is one of them was the BBC FIFA Women's World Cup coverage was watched by 12.6 million people. It is, I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. And the FA Cup final, the Women's FA Cup final on August 1st, 2015 will be shown on BBC One and BBC Radio 5 live as well. Look out for us at that final. We'll be filming down there. But yeah, I said Carly Lloyd won the Women's World Cup goal of the tournament. And I said, it is a case of even more records as well. I mean, the one big thing that we did want to mention is that England women became the country's most successful football team in half a century, captured the imagination of a nation on the way to World Cup bronze, and attracted unprecedented attention along the way. We mentioned across the country, clubs are anticipating bigger crowds. I mean, we had obviously Hackney Wick FC as well. We had Hackney Wick FC who have just begun their legacy, and hey, they've started a women's team from the very beginning as well. So basically, it is one of them ones where it looks like the impact is going to be potentially quite substantial. I mean, the latest numbers show that fathers would sooner put a tennis racket in their daughter's hand and will them to play at Wimbledon rather than have them lace up a pair of football boots and dream of Wembley. But while the Lionesses were on their way to winning the World Cup bronze, the FA was busy trying to capitalise on the record exposure by launching the We Can Play campaign, which we mentioned last week. And the aim was to entice more players to try the game and change perceptions and recruit an army of dads and supporters in an effort to make women's football the second most popular team sport in Britain behind men's football by 2018 as well. But it is one of them ones. There are still perceptions to break down. There are still very much perceptions to be broken down, and at the end of the day, it is one of them ones where, in terms of qualified coaches in England, at level 1, female, there are 31,470 compared to male 288,934. Level 2 tells a similar story, 4,334 compared to 69,000 male. UEFA B licensed, there are 9,551 male UEFA B licensed coaches, but only 330 females. And UEFA A licensed, there are 1,353 males compared to 26 females as well. And in the dugout, there are only 2 female managers in the top 2 tiers of the FAWSL. Chelsea ladies boss Emma Hayes and Reading FC women's boss Kelly Chambers as well. It is a case of, like, there are, I mean, obviously stats, certain things are rising as well, and there are certain things that are being put in place to help also grow the grassroots game as well. I mean, the World Cup impact was felt in the East Midlands, with the Leicestershire and Rutland County FA reporting a rise in inquiries from women and girls interested in playing football. Leicestershire club Oadby and Wigston, founded in 1997 with 4 girls, now has 200 on its books across 12 teams. Alexandra Park FC, who we bumped into their chairman, Dave McLaughlin, and we also bumped into their first team coach whilst we were down there as well. It is a case of they're looking to potentially add more women's teams to their roster as well. It is one of them ones where the Surrey Women's Cup winners, AFC Wimbledon ladies, they're expanding to field an additional 3 women's sides and take the number of players at the club, women's players at the club, to 170. And they play in the London and South East Regional Women's League. So it is one of them ones. They are encouraging players to grow there as well. But the FA on May 22nd, before the Women's World Cup started, agreed to raise the age limit at which boys and girls can play football in the same team from 16 to 18 from this coming season. So the change will enable the FA to conduct further research into mixed football at this older age group. The FA board, FA executive and FA council agreed to the proposal. Denmark has no age limit for mixed teams, Holland and Switzerland split players at 19, while Germany and Italy do likewise at 17. UEFA annually asks all European countries to declare their mixed age football league limit. But it's one of them was all the countries feel strongly like we do in England, that mixed football is an important additional choice to their female-only provision. Now, another interesting thing in terms of the women's game and the recent growth as well, we were very impressed. And I know myself, the G-Man, and Jezzy Fizzle clearly was as well with the Australian Matildas. And Australian defender Steph Catley will be the first female footballer to feature on the cover of a FIFA game. Catley, who played in the 2015 Women's World Cup, will join Lionel Messi on the cover of the Australian version of FIFA 16. The 21-year-old was chosen for a public vote that picked her ahead of fellow World Cup players Kaya Simon and Katerina Gori. Catley said, "Words can't describe the excitement I'm feeling about being on the cover of FIFA 16. It's a dream come true. It's been a huge year for the Westfield Matildas, and getting this recognition from EA Sports and FIFA fans for all our hard work is a great step forward for women's football on both a local and global scale. I've always been a huge FIFA fan, and knowing that I'll be playable in the game as well as being on the cover alongside Lionel Messi is a career highlight for me." EA has already revealed that FIFA 16 will feature 12 women's national teams for the first time, which includes Australia, England, and the USA, as we mentioned, and we actually got that on YouTube. I think as a pitch talk push point as well. But meanwhile, in the UK, Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson has been voted FIFA 16 cover star. Newly appointed Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson was voted by fans to take that, and he's the first Liverpool player to feature on the front cover. But it is one of them ones where, for the women's game, that kind of exposure is just fantastic. I mean, I personally would have loved, I mean, with all respect to Jordan Henderson, on Liverpool's new captain on the men's side, I thought it would have been amazing to have seen Farrell Williams on the cover of FIFA 16 alongside Messi, similar to what what EA Sports have done in Australia with having Steph Catley being the first female footballer featuring on the cover of FIFA. But I think it's one of them was growing the grassroots game. Hopefully, the women's game and its development can learn from the mistakes that have been made in the men's game. Focus on grassroots and get a solid base. Get a solid base in the grassroots game before trying to develop other areas of the game. So one of them was focus on bits and bobs. Now, those numbers with like smashing records and millions of people tuning in to the Women's World Cup, yours truly included, all three PT co-hosts included. I think it's fantastic. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And you know what? I mean, England Lionesses' success, will it leave a lasting legacy? I'm really hoping so. I mean, I would love to personally see the BBC getting a lot more coverage of the women's game, because BT Sport, I should say, it is an expensive add-on, and we're going to come back to that side of things in special feature segments. But it is a case of it is expensive to get that, and some of us don't have access to it, so we have to look at other ways of watching matches. But it's one of them was the increased exposure at the moment. I'm personally hoping it lasts, because the more of the game that thrives, the more people can get involved in the game, whether it be playing, whether it be supporting. It's one of them was it just gives more people a chance to take it in. And that for me is one of the most important things. I mean, the women's game is growing, and it does need all the help it gets. It can get similar to us here at Pitch Talk. We're growing. We're trying to grow as a brand. We're trying to grow as an entity, but we need help to do it. Just like women's football needs the help, but you need to grow things on strong foundations, not just throwing a bunch of money at it and hoping it grows. It's a case of the fan base, developing fan bases. I mean, we're going to talk about Hackney Wick FC shortly as well in the grassroots segment, where obviously they're trying to grow a brand and trying to grow literally from scratch. So that's for me. That's one of the majorly important things. So I think it's absolutely fantastic that you've got millions of views. I mean, the average attendance being 26,000 for the Women's World Cup. The biggest attendance being Canada versus the England Lionesses in the quarterfinal in Vancouver. I mean, 7 matches having over 50,000 spectators in attendance and setting new total attendance records for the FIFA Women's World Cup. I mean, that is fantastic. I mean, it's one of the television stats. I think it's tremendous as well. I mean, 20 million unique visitors in terms of digital stats to FIFA.com's Women's World Cup section. I think that is brilliant. I think that is brilliant. I mean, it's one of FIFA's YouTube channel having its all-time monthly views record in June 2015, 28 million viewers. And that's for the FIFA Women's World Cup versus 19 million in June 2014 during the Men's World Cup. I think that is a huge stat. And you know what? It is one of them ones. I think it is absolutely fantastic. And I said, with the record numbers cheering on the Lionesses in the FAWSL this weekend, I'm so hoping that loss. I really am hoping that loss, because this is momentum to build up. And it's always good. It's always good to have the momentum starting, but continuing it as well. I mean, perceptions are still there to be broken down. I mean, it's one of them was. I mean, with BBC Sport conducting their survey, they said that why dads say football is not for girls. 25% see more other sports as more suitable. 24% think girls prefer other sports. 19% of dads feel women's football lacks quality. 16% see it as unladylike. 17% are concerned girls will get injured, and 22% see football as a man game. And that was FA independent research surveying 1,000 dads, which is quite a small sample if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But there's still those barriers of perception to be broken down. But if you see that the game is growing and developing, and that the quality is rising, and that injuries are not as much of a concern as something, and this whole perception about it being unladylike and that kind of thing, I think that's BS, in all honesty. I mean, thinking girls prefer other sports, that's a huge assumption. And some say assumption is the mother of all F-ups. But at the end of the day, football is suitable for everyone. I mean, we of course we've mentioned in recent weeks about the England cerebral palsy team as well. I mean, it's one of them was football is for everyone, and it should be for everyone. Just like us at Pitch Talk, we the people for the people. We want everyone and anyone to come and join us for the shows. We've got the Skypers who join us every week. We've got people on Twitter, on Facebook joining us every week. It's one of them was, if you love football, we do too. We'd love to hear your view. I mean, Jesse Filsbury, do you want to jump in on this?
I do, and I think it's fantastic, because what we're witnessing is the growth and evolution of the women's game. And for me, it's a beautiful thing. I've been saying the last couple of weeks now, as a football fan, for me, of women's football, especially WSL, is a legitimate option for me. It's a legitimate option as a different game to watch now. So, yes, I will still watch the Premier League. Yes, I'll dabble in the Championship. Yes, I'll dabble in Serie A, the Brasileirão, La Liga, the Eredivisie. But now the WSL is on that list too. It's on that list too, and I think the rise in attendance, the fact that we have female stars on the front cover, and I agree with you. I would personally, out of Farah Williams and Jordan Henderson, right? Looking at some of the hate that Jordan Henderson had got, where you're seeing fans that say they would boycott FIFA if he made the front cover. which I think was absolutely hilarious because it really doesn't matter who's on the front cover. You know, I would have opted with Pharrell Williams over him. You know, just to really make a statement about how serious EA Sports are about including women's football into this year's game. Why not take one of the most talented players in women's football and stick her on the front cover? Why not do that? And if they can do that for, you know, the Australian version, why not do it for the European version as well?
Of course, but I mean, I think that will come with time. I mean, the fact that there's international women's teams involved in FIFA 16 anyway, it's building those foundations and getting that exposure, because now people are going to get to play as the England Lionesses. They're going to get to play as the World Cup winners USA. So you're going to get to play as Carly Lloyd. You're going to get to play as Pharrell Williams. You're going to get to play as so many other players. You're going to get to play as Kaya Simon as well. So, and Steph Catley. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be brilliant.
It's going to be amazing.
I'm hoping that the foundations are being. I'm just hoping these foundations are being laid, and you can see it growing organically, and that's the one important thing. Growing something organically means it's going to last longer. If you force the growth, as the G-Man has said before, if you force the growth, then it won't sustain. But if you have it growing organically and you get the exposure, then hell, the sky's the limit for the women's game. And I really hope the development happens. I really do. There's no need to rush it. There's momentum, obviously, after the Women's World Cup, which I think is fantastic. One of them was saying, you know what, the suggestions are being made in the Skype chat as well. I mean, Brad Hickson said, I follow Miles Jacobson on Twitter and the Football Manager account. I might suggest they get women's football on it. Why not? It's one of them ones. I mean, also Mike Hardiman has said they need a WSL Football Manager. I think that'd be an interesting idea, because obviously the amount of time people spend on that Football Manager, and well, back when I was more of a gamer, it was Premier Manager to a later on as well, LMA Manager as well. And it's one of them was you do spend a lot of time on those, and you end up scouting a lot of players, and that's like, who's the next big thing? It's one of them was, if you're looking for managers to buy. So for players to buy on that Football Manager, then it'd be one of them was obviously, and especially female players. It'd be a case of, if they were in Football Manager, it's like, right, okay, let me watch some of these players in real life and see if I can buy them. Like Oshuala of Liverpool, it's like, she looks a beast. Let me buy her on Football Manager and see what happens, and then that encourages you to look for other players as well. So I think the development of women's football at the moment can't be rushed, but I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant that it does seem to be developing very well.
Yeah, and you know what? You raised a very interesting point in that's how a lot of football fans that are involved in football gaining, how they actually get to learn about young talented players. It's through, looking at them through that virtual eye of Football Manager and Pro Evolution Soccer and FIFA, and then actually seeking them out in real life. I think for me, one of those players happened to be Carlos Tevez many years ago, right? So we're talking about back when he just was over at Corinthians, right? So there wasn't a lot to talk about him in Europe at that point, but on the official forums, on the Side Games forums, when I used to be an active member back in the day, it was like, yeah, everybody needs to check out. There's two players, Cesar Delgado, who didn't actually pan out to be anywhere near as good in real life as he was in Football Manager.
Well, like Freddie Adu.
Freddie Adu as well.
Yeah.
He was another one. But yeah, at that point, everyone was talking about Carlos Tevez. I was like, okay, let's go and have a look. And then, of course, he ended up with his big move to England, so on and so forth, going to West Ham, and then, of course, going to Manchester United. And the rest of his career speaks for itself. But I think if those kinds of games were to branch out into women's football, it would do women's football a world of good, an absolute world of good. I actually don't see any reason why over the next 5 to 10 years that couldn't be the case.
No, I hear that. I mean,
really can't see any reason why that couldn't be the case, because as I say, if it's doing so much for the men's game, in the sense of there are whole scouting networks in the professional game based around the game, and people have become managers based on their experience in the game, then what would it do for the women's game?
No, exactly. I mean, I think it's one of them ones. I think this. I really hoping that this momentum sticks, and I think it will. And I think it will, because it's a case of it's been somewhat of a slow burner, but I think the Lionesses World Cup really has triggered something there. And the fact that there are inquiries from certain county leagues, there are teams starting up, such as Hackney Wick FC, who we were out on Saturday. It is one of them ones where it's fantastic to see that these teams are actually thinking about women's teams and thinking about women's teams seriously. So rather than tacking it on like years down the line, it's a case of women's teams are being factored in straight away. That's why I think the Hackney Wick FC the beginning that we witnessed on Saturday was very important, not just for the men's team but also for the women's team. And that's one of the questions we did ask, is how important is it that they're starting with a women's team at the same time as a men's team as well, starting from that beginning. So it's one of them ones. But you know what? It is one of them ones where we do have to pause that particular track we are on, because we are going to go into a very short pause for the cause. But it's one of them was big time hello and a big shout out to at Beautiful Game 15 on Twitter and Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game on Facebook. We've got Daniel in the chat with us. Big shout out to Tom as well. It is one of them was we are going to go into a quick break, but we've got the next segment involving Hackney Wick FC as well, so stick around for that. We still got a lot more show. But you know what? For right now, we are going to be we're gonna have a little bit of a quick pause. All right, back. We'll see you in a minute, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pitch Talk proudly presents a full sit-down interview with a level 5 referee operating in Southern Amateur League and more. For 2 years, he was club secretary for a football club in Burnt Oak. In April 2015, he was elected AFA Youth Council Chairman. His aims include having input on development and more.
To ask Darrell a question during our special interview, email pitchtalk@gmail.com and put Darrell David in the subject line. Pitch Talk meets Darrell David, coming soon. The football talk show that holds back nothing on opinions.
Straight shooting LJA.
Hi, I'm John Sitton.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hello, I'm Rob Rest.
The G-Man.
Samira Sawney, Motivate Sports and Fitness.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-Year Plan.
We the people, for the people. Jazzy Fizzle.
Your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Each and every Monday night of your lives.
At youtube.com/Pitch Talk.
For podcast links and information, check out our official website, www.pitch-talk.com. Your Monday night footballing fix, Pitch Talk, is brought to you by and in association with
Talking Pie, a local podcast made by the fans for the fans of Notts County FC, hosted by Adam and Thomas Hewitt.
Simply Exclusive Entertainment. If you need a party or rave film, go to sxemedia.com for more information.
Apparently Rich, simple yet effective web solutions to help get your company off the ground. Visit apparentlyrich.com for more information. And LJA Productions, the new blood in digital video. If you need a video filmed and or edited, check out ljaproductions.co.uk. LJA Productions, the new blood in digital video, offering video production services such as video editing, video encoding to the web, including YouTube videos, audio recording, filming of reviews, promos, live events, and much more. Get in touch at www.ljaproductions.co.uk or twitter.com/LJA Productions and let the new blood in digital video promote you. Pitch Talk is brought to you by and in association with
the one-stop shop for all your coaching needs, Motivate Sports and Fitness. Check out motivatesportsandfitness.com for more information.
The new football culture magazine, Thin White Line. Check out thinwhitelinemagazine.com for more information.
Storm FM with new hot releases played daily. Feel the boom at stormfm.net.
Two girls with their bunny Scotty trying to cover as much women's football as they can. Girls on the Ball. Check out girlsontheball.com for more information.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-Year Plan.
Dave McLaughlin.
I'm Rob Lusher.
Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
Former chairman of Ibis FC.
Chairman of Alexandra Park FC.
And you're listening to
Pitch Talk.
The only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Make sure you join the revolution, the football revolution.
Grassroots segments. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. We are on the grassroots segment right about now. We have got so many people to give shout outs to on this segment. It's one of them was, man. One of them, man. It's like Jazzy, man. You want to give shout out, man? You want to give some shout out, man?
Of course, man. As I said, absolutely everybody down at Mabley Green on Saturday. And I just want to say, who to be wicker.
Yeah.
And of course, my personal favorite, as I happened to deafen the G-Man, but even when you had the headphones on, listening to the levels on the mic, come on, you wickers. So, absolutely everybody down at Mabley Green, thank you so much. Everybody that was involved with our filming and photography, thank you so much. And literally cannot wait to get back down there again. And of course, extra special mention to both Daniel and Tom, aka Two Men in Search of a Beautiful Game, and at Beautiful Game 15 on Twitter.
Exactly. It is one of them ones, man. I mean, we had a hell of a lot of fun. You know, it is it was one of them days you're just proud to be a football supporter, and you're proud to do something. I mean, I'm always proud of doing pitch talk and doing stuff like pitch talk on the road and pitch talk meets and at the cup finals as well. But Saturday was one of those unique moments where we got to witness history, and obviously with pitch talk being the conduit for that as well, it just filled me with great pride to actually see a historic event happen, and that was the birth of a football club. And it's not one out of protest either. It's not one out of protest, because we saw on the weekend Hereford FC won their first home match in friendly with FC United of Manchester. This was also on Saturday, 11th of July 2015. So-called Phoenix Club, Hereford FC, have won their first home match against FC United of Manchester. Nathan Hughes scored the only goal of the game in front of a crowd of almost 4,250 at Hereford's Edgar Street ground. The club was formed in the wake of the collapse of Hereford United, which was wound up in December 2014. Chairman John Hale said there was a lot of love for the Phoenix Club in Hereford. The club has negotiated a five-year tenancy at Edgar Street, the former Hereford United ground. Mr. Hale said the match against FC United, which was founded by Man United fans in response to the Glazer family's takeover, was particularly special because Hereford had drawn on that club's experience. FC United have risen through the non-league ranks over the past decade and will start the new season in the National League North, previously Conference North, after promotion from the Northern League. They have had a fantastic journey and have been really helpful in giving us lots of advice, Mr. Hale said. Hereford United was rounded up by a High Court judge after a petition brought by HM Revenue and Customs, which is thought to be owed £116,000. The club was expelled from the football conference in June 2014 after failing to pay creditors. Hereford FC will play in the Midland Football League. Their league season will begin on August 8th. Now, Hackney Wick FC began their journey on July 11th, Saturday, July 11th as well. Big time shout out to at F Beyond Borders, Football Beyond Borders, who were the opposition for the men's and women's teams of Hackney Wick FC on the day. It's Football Beyond Borders. The at FBB Warriors is the Football Beyond Borders women's football team. Big time shout outs to everybody at Hackney Wick FC. That is www.hackneywickfc.com. If you go to the contacts page, you can email the club and get info on playing. A big time shout to at Hackney Wick FC on Twitter. They're on Facebook as at Hackney Wick FC as well. It is one of them. Was big time shout outs to Bobby Kasanga, the founder of the club, and also Rana as well. It's a big shout out to at Rana_banana, the chairwoman of Hackney Wick FC. Big time
chairman. We've discussed this.
I know, but it's one of them ones. I want to give the respect. You got to respect every gender. And
I'm saying to you, chairman. That's what she said.
I know, but I want to give the respect there. But it's one of them was also big shout out to Lauren Amelia Roberts as well, who is the captain at the moment of the Hackney Wick FC women's team. Big shout out to Lauren. We had her on an interview, and it is one of them. As I said, big shout out to Bobby Kasanga and also Rana Brightman as well. Big time shout outs. A big thank you to everyone at Hackney Wick FC who had us down, and especially a big time shout out, as Jesse Fizzle mentioned, a huge shout out to at Beautiful Game 15 on Twitter and Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game on Facebook. That is Daniel and Tom. Big time shout outs to them, because it was because of them that we actually found out about Hackney Wick FC and their event this past Saturday. It was great to see the community turning out. It was great to meet as many people as we did there. I actually kind of got like, when the men's game started, I don't know why, but I kind of
I know why.
I know it's one of them ones. I couldn't help it. I just kind of got into it and was trying to help the goalkeeper and their defense. I was just really trying to help, especially their right backs as well, because the right backs were on the near side. So it was one of them ones. I just got into it because, as people will know from listening to Pitch Talk live shows, I am a lot more critical with defenders than anyone else. So it's one of them ones. I'll try and help rather than just criticize. But as much as I was on the day rolling up to be impartial, I ended up very much partial towards Hackney Wick FC. As said, we met Dave McLaughlin, chairman of Alexandra Park FC, who are actually Hackney Wick FC's next opponents at Mabley Green. So it was brilliant for myself, the G-Man and Jezzy Fizzle. It was a lot of fun being down there with the three of us, the journey there, the journey back, and being there and witnessing history was absolutely tremendous. Really, really enjoyed it. Jezzy, do you want to add anything else?
No, I mean, there's really not a lot to go in to add to it, really. I have to say, I had a tremendous time. Obviously, thank you to yourself. Thank you to the G-Man. Thank you to Daniel and Tom. Thank you to absolutely everybody that came down to support Hackney Wick FC. And, of course, what will be on board and the FBB Warriors as well. Thank you to everyone that took part in all of the events on the day. And, this is what it's all about, And big thank you to Dave McLaughlin as well. And everybody associated with Alexandra Park FC as well, because this is the bit, right? This is really what it's all about, Like it needs to be said. It was a tremendous event. It was great to see so many people turn out, and as you alluded to right at the beginning, it was wonderful to be a part of the birth of a football club, and absolutely honoured to have been there. And thank you very much for having us.
Definitely, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's one of, as said, man. I ended up getting emotionally involved in the men's match as well. I spent like literally the whole first half just bumping up and down the touchline, just pacing. It was I couldn't help but get into it. I really did.
I'm hoping that the G-Man got some cutaways of you.
He did, actually. He did. We're editing the footage of our next installment of Pitch Talk on the road at Hackney Wick FC. So, yeah, there is footage of me pacing up and down.
Because I think we should just make a short film of that, to be fair.
Oh, you're funny.
like a quick 15-second film of that.
I mean, as well. Remember, someone. What was it? You were saying Coach Carter. I was just glad.
Yep.
I was just glad you weren't saying see you next. Well, anyway, I'll leave that one. But you know what? Yeah. On the note of Hackney Wick FC, aka the Wickers, hash the Wickers, get that trending. Also, hash our borough, our club, get that trending as well. We have Daniel Magna of Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game live on Skype right now. Daniel, how's it going? And how did you find Saturday's event, the debut of Hackney Wick FC, brand new club? How did you find it, man?
Well, firstly, hello everyone, and thanks very much for having us. And astonishing, really. I mean, I'm normally one who's not really lost for words, but it was remarkable, really. I think everyone is absolutely exhausted. Even more so Bobby and Rana, I'm sure, who played as well as hosting with everyone else, are absolutely knackered as well. We all kind of chat on WhatsApp, organising things. I don't think I've seen it so quiet over the last couple of days since this all started. I think everyone's just recuperating and just soaking it all up, really. I think everyone's absolutely blown away by how it went, and no one wants to throw a party and no one turns up. So it was nice that the crowd that was there. The atmosphere was exactly what we were looking for, and it was just great, absolutely brilliant.
Hey, as I said, we really want to thank you for getting in touch with us and letting us know about it. Because it was one of them. It was so refreshing to be part of it. And like we mentioned with Hereford FC and FC United of Manchester, those two teams were started out of protest, but it's kind of the complete other side of the coin as to why Hackney Wick FC was started, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I guess really the forefront of what we're doing or what Bobby's original idea and what we're all kind of, getting on board with is the community being at the forefront. Really, I think, like you said, like I've said a couple of times already, it's not a reaction to someone trying to take your club 40, 50 miles away, or running it into the ground and taking it into debt like with the Glazers and why FC Manchester United started. It's completely fresh. It's a brand new start, and it's before we even played any football, the club were out there doing great community projects. Anything and everything we could do to just let Hackney know, let the wider world know that's really almost a priority, I guess, in a strange way for a football club. It's probably a weird thing for us to say, but I guess we hope that if we get that right, that the football will kind of follow afterwards. And the women's team and the men's team, didn't win, didn't get the victories on Saturday, but I think that was really probably the most unimportant thing of the whole occasion. Really, it was I guess more of a showcase and a chance to show off what we're about and hopefully start planting a few seeds in people's heads and getting them to start thinking about us and talking about us and getting involved, and we can slowly but surely grow that fan base and get people on board.
No, definitely. I mean, the Football Beyond Borders team, you can see in terms of coming back to the results. I mean, the women's team, they were 9-0 down at halftime and lost 13-0 in the end. The scores are actually quite familiar to an Ibis game a few years back. Anyway, and the men's team were 3-1 down at halftime, 5-1 down at full time. It's a bit of a questionable penalty in that one given by the referee, I must say. It's one in the first half, but I wouldn't have given it. I would have been fuming if I had that given against me.
I don't know how you could have seen if it was a penalty. You were too busy in the right back's ear from where I was sitting, so I'm not sure how you saw anything else was going on, to be perfectly honest.
Hey, I was just trying to help. And then fullback positions is one of them ones. It was like that. I was just trying to say to her, hey, let's get the defense in a line rather than diagonal. Sometimes sometimes it was the fullbacks dropping off, and sometimes it was the centre backs deep. I mean, a couple of goals they got kind of caught over the top, but
yeah, absolutely.
But one of the big things that we were saying in the interviews was it's a case of cohesion. Cohesion comes with time, and obviously. I think on the women's side, they had only been training together for about 4 to 6 weeks. Because I'm
not even sure it's that long, and some of them I don't think, as far as I know, had ever, possibly I may be wrong, but had ever played football before. In any way, any more than just a bit of a kickabout, if that. So I mean, for me, I think almost the biggest story of Saturday was the women's team. Really, I mean, it was really just something else how they did. I think obviously the Football Beyond Borders team are great, and I know they're starting in a league this year because they've spent about a year playing friendlies, and one of the members of the staff was saying the girls have said to the management, look, we're ready, we want to start playing in a league now. I mean, there was a girl who scored a hat-trick on Saturday, and she's, I think, 14 years old. She's a school kid. Her teacher drives her up there to training because he can see how enthusiastic she is about it. So there's so many amazing little stories, on Saturday, and long may it continue. Really, we just hope that, like I said, we've planted a few seeds and we can get people coming along, and not sure there's going to be free beer every time, but hopefully people will come regardless, and Kenny will start working with the players, and Saturday was a bit of a Spengor and Eriksson, multiple subs, and it was almost a different team in the second half, and it's a chance for him to see who he's got at his disposal and who's going to work where, and all those things that every football manager has to do at any level. So, he's just working through that, and hopefully come August, when the dates are released for the new league, we'll be good to go. And can't wait. We've got a couple of friendlies coming up as well. There's one against Ali Pali, and there's a few more which are available on the website as well. So definitely, if people want to come along and have a watch, everyone's support is welcome.
Definitely. You know what? If you want to get in touch with Hackney Wick FC, at Hackney Wick FC on Twitter, www.hackneywickfc.com, and also they're on Facebook. Give them a like. Hackney Wick FC on Facebook as well. And you know what? Yeah, it is one of them ones. Daniel, being that you're one half of Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game, let us know about that as well, and kind of that, because you guys haven't been around that long, have you?
No, we only started in I guess December was around New Year's, was when the first ideas came about. It's a bit of a drunken New Year's chat, really, between me and Tom, where we just decided, I guess it dawned on us that we're, out of our group of friends, probably the only people who are really that interested in football. People kind of wake up a bit when the World Cup's on and stuff, but other than that, have really no interest in following a team day to day, if you like, on every Saturday or whatever, and just wanted that opportunity to go to football together first and foremost, and it's just snowballed really into being filmed by you guys, and we've got an article being published in the Stand fanzine, the Against Modern Football fanzine, coming out at the end of the month, and someone's even asked to do an interview of us and write an article about that. So it's just been crazy, really. It's been absolutely crazy. I would never have thought at the beginning of the year I'd be on the committee for a football team. I would have cried at Wembley with my girlfriend and my best mate. I would have been sitting in the changing room of a football team who's just won a cup final or lost a cup final. So it's really been totally whirlwind and fantastic, and long may it continue, and just hopefully people will still keep on enjoying what we're doing, and we want to interact with people as much as possible. I think like I said last week, we'd love people to let us know why we should go and see their team and what makes them unique, and because those are the little things we're interested in about for example, there's a lot of these ultra groups that are springing up in football in London and across the country. We've met a couple at Enfield, and you want to talk about fan-owned clubs. Enfield Town and AFC Wimbledon, I think, have got to get a massive shout out as well. They're big poster boys for this movement, as well as people like FC United of Manchester, and the ultras at Clapton. And there were a couple of the guys there on Saturday, because they're very much community based as well. So it was really cool to see them come along, and we met a few of them on a blog that we did recently as well. So yeah, it's just been nuts, really. It's just been absolutely nuts and absolutely fantastic, and just long may it continue, and as long as people are enjoying what we're doing and giving us the great feedback that we've been giving, we're gonna keep on doing it.
Definitely. Hey, I think we're in similar boats here, but we're going to talk to you about more interviews, because we enjoyed having you guys on. The people are going to see on our Pitch Talk on the Road, our next Pitch Talk on the Road installment. We are going to see Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game.
My sunburnt face. Right.
Well, let us know again how to get in touch with you.
So we're on Twitter at BeautifulGame15. And we're on Facebook, Two Men in Search of a Beautiful Game. So come and give us a like and give us a follow. We're also on Instagram now, so we're on Beautiful Game 15 on there. We're on YouTube as well, Beautiful Game 15. We try and take as many videos as well of the games we go to. So there's a few great videos of few games we went to in Germany last season, and a few halftime team talks from managers, a few little insights there, which are some of the really, really exciting things for us. Is I can't tell you what the atmosphere is like sitting in a football changing room after a team have won or lost a cup final. It's one of the most exhilarating and awkward and horrible experiences I think I've ever experienced. So, hopefully we've captured that in my writing and Tom's photos and our videos as well. So that's all there, and please come and check us out and have a look and let us know what you think, and give us some ideas, give us some suggestions of things to come and do over the next year, because we really want to try and do as much as possible.
Definitely. We will definitely be in touch, because there's some synergy. There's some synergy, baby.
Absolutely.
Gotta love it. But that is. Yeah.
If I could just add one quick thing, we have some match day programs, some kind of commemorative programs, I guess. A few left over from Saturday. So I know, if there's any program collectors or ground hoppers or non-league football fans who it's something they would like to add to their collection, please get in touch with either myself on Twitter, Beautiful Game 15, or with Hackney Wick FC at Hackney Wick FC. All the money goes towards a really good cause. We'll even send it to you in the post as part of the charge. It's going to be, say, £3. We don't think that's a load of money, and it's a nice little memento of the day. If you weren't able to make it, or if people were able to make it and couldn't get hold of one on the day, do get in touch, because we've got a few left. And if you're like me and a program obsessive, it's got to be in the collection with all the other ones. So do let us know, and email us or DM us on Twitter or message us on Facebook, and we'll be more than happy. If you make a small donation to the club, we'd be more than happy to pop one of them in the post for whoever wants one.
Definitely. You know what? We'll be in touch about that. We've actually kind of just popped up with an idea. Idea, actually. We'll get in touch. We'll be in touch, man. But big time shout outs to Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game. Remember, follow them on Twitter at Beautiful Game 15 and on Facebook as well. Also, another big shout out to Football Beyond Borders.
Yeah,
it's www.footballbeyondborders.org. They're a charity that uses football to inspire young people to achieve their goals and tackle inequality and discrimination. So give at F Beyond Borders on Twitter a follow. Football Beyond Borders on Twitter a follow at F Beyond Borders. And also www.footballbeyondborders.org. Give them a view on their website, and also give them a follow too. They were part of history just like we were on Saturday, this past Saturday, July 11th. We got to witness the birth of a club. We're so appreciative for it. Pitch Talk on the Road, our next installment of Pitch Talk on the Road is in post-production and will be coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. I'd say also a big shout out to Ibis Football Club as well, the club that I call home, Ibis Football Club, ibisfc.co.uk, at ibis_football on Twitter, and email ibisfootballclub@gmail.com if you want to play for the club. Our pre-season will be starting up shortly. So yeah, good stuff. You know what? We just want to pause that particular track we're on. Hopefully Daniel, you're sticking around for the final segment of the show.
I've got a girlfriend kind of glaring at me a little bit, because I've been home for maybe 25 minutes. I've eaten dinner at a million miles an hour, and now she's kind of giving me a bit of the stink eye. So I might have to love you and leave you. Please don't think I'm being rude.
No problem.
It is just because I might be punched, and that wouldn't be very good on live radio. So again, let me please thank you so much on behalf of Rana and Claire and Brian and Bobby and Tom and everyone at the club. If I've missed anyone's name out, then I'm awfully sorry, but we're so grateful to your support and what a big help it's been, and hopefully the first game's coming up soon, so maybe we'll hopefully see you down there in some capacity as well.
Yeah, we'll try and get down, man. And a big thank you to you too.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Daniel, thank you for joining us. And we just want to say a big welcome to JBK, who's just popped in. Yeah, baby. I love it. You know what?
You know, he's got that turn of face.
You know, speaking of a turn of pace, we've got to have a turning segment because we're going on to the final segment of the show, which this week is.
What's up with that?
You know what? Yeah. Oh my God. What's up with that? Dan Petrescu, ex-Chelsea player, quits Targu Mures after one game. From the 9th of July 2015. Played one, won one, resigned. No, this is not a joke. This is actually real. Football managers often moan they're not given enough time in the job. So ex-Chelsea player Dan Petrescu perhaps thought he would turn the tables. After signing a 3-year contract with Targu Mures in June, the 47-year-old won the Romanian Super Cup in his only competitive game in charge and then decided to quit. His former club's 1-0 win over Steaua Bucharest secured the first trophy in their history, and Petrescu left the winner to join Chinese club Jiangsu Sainty on a lucrative deal. His reign at Targu, who were in financial difficulty, lasted just 27 days. Petrescu managed Dynamo Moscow and Kuban Krasnodar in Russia, but has now lasted 20 games or less in 4 of his 9 managerial spells. It's very hard to leave the team in this moment, said Petrescu, who also played for Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton and Bradford. I don't know how it will be in China. I hope it will be like in Russia. Still, this spell at Targu looks long-term in comparison to the 10 minutes Leroy Rosenior spent as manager of Torquay United in 2007 before being ousted by a consortium who took charge of the club at the time of his appointment. It lasted 10 minutes! That's not even a cup of coffee. You'd be waiting 10 minutes to make that coffee. Oh my. You know what? Another what's up with that moment. Preston North End celebrates Sky Bet Championship promotion in unusual fashion. This is from today, Monday 13th of July 2015. Preston North End celebrated their recent promotion by parading a coffin through the streets of Bamber Bridge. The tradition, which started in 1948, is one of the more unusual footballing customs, but it's designed to signify whether Preston have been promoted or relegated. If North End have moved up the leagues, then a coffin will be raised. But if they're relegated, one will be buried. Thousands turned out to watch this year's event, with fans of North End still jubilant after their successful promotion campaign last season. Simon Grayson's men were successful in the playoffs, beating Swindon Town 4-0 at Wembley to secure their route into the Sky Bet Championship. I love that. I love that. You know what, yeah? Our final what's up with that moment has come out earlier this evening. Grimsby Town inflatable shark attack fan convicted. A Grimsby Town fan, this is from Monday, July 13th, 2015. I'm not going to be able to continue this with a straight face. A Grimsby Town fan has been found guilty of assaulting a football steward with an inflatable shark.
See, you were asking about inflatable sheep last week.
Someone took me up on it. Oh my word. Kenneth Meach, who's 51 of Alexandra Road, Cleethorpes, watched his club win 3-1 at Barnet in a conference game on the 21st of February. Willesden Magistrates Court heard that he assaulted Barnet steward Gaggy Gladding as he celebrated the victory. Okay, this already sounds odd. Meach, who was among the nearly 1,000 fans who travelled to the Hive Stadium, denied the charge of common assault. Speaking to the BBC in February, Meach admitted he and other Grimsby fans had taken inflatable objects to the game in support of another fan, Brian Winship. Mr. Winship was ejected in an apparent headlock by a steward at Forest Green Rovers in a row over a giant inflatable football. A lot of lads were saying, come on, let's get together and support Brian by taking as many inflatables as possible to Barnet. And that's what we did because we've got a good sense of humour, us Grimsby fans. we were jumping about amongst each other as you do, you know, celebrating as you do. And before I knew it, I was shocked, really. I was grabbed out by the police and taken away. I love doing this show. I swear I do. Oh, no, stop. I'm taking these in order because it just degenerates in terms of silliness. What is up with these? Petrescu quitting after one game. That is brilliant. That is genius. It's like, hey, played one, won one. Hey, I'm buggering off a winner. But you can't. I won you a trophy. I'm a success, damn it. I won you a trophy. My only game in charge, and I won a trophy. That's like having your debut in wrestling and you win a world title. That's brilliant. But it's I could you imagine someone like, say, Jose Mourinho doing that to Roman Abramovich? He'd be like, hey, I just won you a trophy. I'm buggering off. Life sucks and then you die. Oh, press the North End thing with the coffin. That's actually quite inventive. They'll bury one if they get relegated and raise one if they get promoted. It's quite interesting. That is actually interesting. But no, it's one of them. This is one that we've got to blow the whistle on. We've got to blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. You know what? The inflatable shark. Come on. How can you assault a football student with an inflatable shark? That doesn't even sound possible. It's like, what's it, Public Enemy against the Nasty Boys at one of the Halloween Havoc pay-per-views. I think it might have been 95 in WCW, where like they were hitting each other with blow-up rubber bats. And like, it was like, ow, how do you sell that? Is that, no, that is such a liberty. Getting found guilty of assaulting someone with an inflatable shark. That I can't say it with a straight. Bro, oh, that is that. No, Jazzy Fizzle, please take over on this. I can't stop laughing.
To be honest with you, I'm not going to be much better because it's absolutely classic. I mean, an inflatable shark. Really? Like, how can you even call it assault? Like, I mean, it would have had to have been loaded with something for it to even remotely do anything. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't even, look, I'm actually lost for words. I don't actually know what to say about it other than it's absolutely classic. You know what? This is up there with one of the all-time what's up with that moment stories. It's up there. It is definitely up there. That's all I can really say about it. The other thing to say as well, just this is why I love this show. Stories like this is why I love this show. I have to say. Absolutely brilliant.
I mean, oh lordy, Jamie Bailey. Seeing as you just popped up, do you want to? Jamie, yeah, Bailey. Do you want to jump in on this, and then we're gonna have Ryan Sunday after?
Right. I've got three sort of different phrases. From Dan Petrescu, yeah. For the
no.
For the second one, like yeah, dig it.
Oh, liberties.
Well, they're gonna have to dig it at some point because I'm pretty sure Preston might be on the receiving end of something this season.
Oh.
And then the final one, I could say it's a disgrace, but I'm actually going to go with no.
This one. Wait, what? I've just been convicted for assaulting someone with an inflatable shark. No.
I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh no.
Good God Almighty! The inflatable shark!
Or even better still.
My God, that's got to be
God,
shark.
that man is broken in half.
As God is my witness, that shark is broken in half. No, that's such a liberty. No, no. I mean, Daniel earlier said he was at a loss for words, but I am definitely at a loss for words with an inflatable shark. Bro, whoever that was, whoever the judge was, bro, you need to get a sense of humor. Because all I can say is the judge that convicted, I would just have to say this.
If I want any crap out of you, I'll pick it out of your teeth.
If the judge said to me, "Yeah, you're convicted for that," that's what I would say. That judge who convicted him of assault needs the rating of
-5 stars.
because it's one of them was if I was there and I saw that and I saw someone come out like assault someone with it or try and assault someone with an inflatable shark, I'd just be thinking,
Tell me I did not just see that.
You'd have to. It's it's crazy. Ryan Sonley, did you want to jump in on these? Oh, Ryan, are you there? All right, I guess we're going.
No problems with my laptop then. Yeah, about that Dan Petrescu thing. I mean, I shared it to the wall and I was thinking, what the hell? One game? Oh well, does that mean he's a one-game wonder?
Well, he's a one-game winner at least.
Yeah, at least he won a cup for them, so you can't really boo him if he ever returned there as a manager of another team.
Oh.
And the inflatable shark thing. What? I'm creasing up. I mean, I just like saw it and I was like, what? It's not. You can't have that. And then, I mean, the beach ball back when Sunderland played Liverpool.
Yeah, let's not bring that up. As a Liverpool supporter, let's not bring that up.
They didn't get done, did they? So,
but no.
I think with play.
I mean, it is one of them ones. It is one of them ones where, like, the shark thing. You just got to look at it and just be like,
Hey, he stuck his legs.
To charge the guy for assault, it is a disgrace because it is one of them ones.
Below the belt.
Lord.
Charging for assault. I mean, there's better people. There's people out there that actually assault people and get away with it.
We're not gonna go into that too much, just because that's a different issue. But it is one of them ones where it is nuts. But you know what? It is one of them ones. We are at an end. We are at an end in terms of the show, and I'd just like to say big ups to inflatable sharks. Big ups. That's good. That's leveling. That's leveling. Go on the attack with Benfica condoms, and also the Hoffenheim story.
I told you it's
rivaling those two. It's like one of my favorite "What's Up with That" stories of all time. Oh my word! You know what? It is one of them ones where it is time for us to vacate the place with A Hayes, because it is about that time for us to say.
Hi, I'm John Sittle, and I'm here with Gavin, Liam and Gerald on Pitch Talk.
The football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez. My name is Christian Carambeu.
I'm grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hi, I'm Matt Hodgson. Listening to Pitch Talk, the only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I'm Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
I'm Rob Lusher, former chairman of Ibis FC.
I'm Samir Swanee, co-founder and co-director of Motivate Sports and Fitness.
And you're listening to
Pitch Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Straight Shooting LJ, the G-Man and Jazzy Fizzle, we're still laughing at inflatable sharks, but we would like to say that we've been bringing you the football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions, because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we laugh at inflatable sharks and talk.
Or talk.
Look at the other day, inflatable sharks. We went from talking salad at the beginning of the show to inflatable sharks at the end. Someone's going to think we're crazy.
Side dishes.
Oh, Lord. At least it's only side dishes and not anything else. But it is one of them ones. Oh, we have had so much fun, man. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website for everything. To find out about everything Pitch Talk, go to our official website, www.pitch-talk.com. Also, facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become fan, become friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution. We are working so hard to create. pitchtalk.blogspot.com or .co.uk will get you to the blogs. Blogs by yours truly, Straight Shooting LJ, the G-Man, Jazzy Fizzle, and many, many others, including Dave Mear, aka at Mearcy's Airtricity Premier League Roundup. Also, youtube.com/Pitch Talk is where you can find all of our videos. You can find all of our videos there, including Pitch Talk meets Dave McLaughlin, our most recent Pitch Talk meets interview. We've got another one coming up with AFA Youth Council Chairman Mr. Darrell David. Get your questions into pitchtalk@gmail.com for Pitch Talk meets Darrell David. Get those questions in as soon as possible. Also, youtube.com/Pitch Talk is where we will be uploading the next Pitch Talk on the road video at Hackney Wick FC. We witnessed the birth of a club. We witnessed history this past Saturday. So big time shout outs to at Hackney Wick FC on Twitter, Hackney Wick FC on Facebook. Go and give them a like. #VWickers. Go and give them a follow on Twitter and a like on Facebook and get signed up. It's one of them ones. #OurBorough, Our Club. It's one of them ones. Big time things in the future of Hackney Wick FC. Also, big shout outs for getting us in touch in the first place at Beautiful Game on Twitter and Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game on Facebook. Big time shout outs to Daniel and Tom. It was an absolute pleasure to meet them. Absolute pleasure to meet everyone at Hackney Wick FC. Rana, Lauren, Bobby as well, Bobby Kasango, the founder of the club, and everyone else who we met down there. Thank you so much for giving us your time to do interviews and letting us be a part of history. You know, it is one of them ones. Also twitter.com/Pitch Talk or at Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we are up to. Pitch Talk live on Google Plus. The phone number is 07535804466. Call us, text us, let us know your views. If you text, then please leave your name at the end of the text so we can give you a shout out. Also, big time shout outs to Ibis Football Club. Big shout outs to Alexandra Park FC. It was good to see Dave McLaughlin down there and also his first team coach as well. It's one of them ones. Also, big time shout outs to Football Beyond Borders as well, a charity using football to inspire young people to achieve their goals and tackle inequality and discrimination. www.footballbeyondborders.org and at FBeyondBorders on Twitter as well. Big time shout outs, big ups to everybody who's listening with us as well. We got Mike Harnham, we got Jamie Bailey, we got Russ Verner, we had Tom Wood, we had Ryan Sonley, we had Daniel from Two Men in Search of the Beautiful Game as well. Earlier on, it is one of them was big time shout outs to all of those who joined us on Skype. Big time shout outs to those listening via YouTube and also via the podcast on iTunes, Mixcloud, Podomatic, Spreaker, and TuneIn Radio. And a big time shout out to those on Facebook, including Chairman of Hackney Wick FC. That's Miss Rana Bratman. Big
Well
shout outs also to Miss Jennifer Evans as well. Also
salute.
Also big time shout outs to Sophie and Rachel of Girls on the Ball as well. Big time.
And Scotty as well.
Exactly. Pitch Talk's favorite rabbit, Scotty the Rabbit. You know what? I have been straight shooting LJA.
I've been Jezzy Fizzle.
From all three of us, including the G-Man who couldn't make it this week, we say thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
All right.